quantum eraser. He moves through the world with purpose and grace, destroying beliefs as steadfast days, asking what's science and what's math. His wisdom cuts through like tempered glass. They call him Huey, the quantum eraser. A master archer with bow in hand, his aim is true across the land, not just in science, but in every heart. He hits his mark with a steady heart. They call him Huey, quantum eraser. It's all too easy for him when he takes the stage. With every word he states, they feel the rage. His presence alone rattles that cage. The crayon-eating numpties are running out of time. They call him Huey, the quantum eraser. With every swing of the cowbell, the illusion fades, and with each strike, the glober's illusion degrades. Huey's treatments, they cure them of their plight, guide and torture with all his might. They call him Huey, quantum eraser. The hardest thing about being a glober is tell your daddy you're gay, oh so gay. That's why they need Huey's treatment. They call him Huey, quantum eraser. They call him Huey, the quantum eraser.
That's some mighty fine of picking and a grinning. Let's see if we're back up. How am I sounding out there? How did that sound out there in YouTube land? Give me a thumbs up. Give me something out there. I'm searching for something. Nathan Oakley's giving me raised eyebrow. Neil, into the break. Everything's looking good. Steve, thanks. Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate that. Let's head on over to the VC, see if there's any VCs in the VC. Here we go. VCs.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That was like a comedy, right? So we went to fix QE's computer, and my mic then went down. That's why I was pissing around. I had to fiddle around in the back, try a different port because nothing was working. Then somehow, when I got back up and trying to speak to you, no sound. It was trying to play the sound through my microphone. That's why. So I've had to do a restart and find out. Oh, mate, I've had enough for today.
Yeah, you. Everything has gone wrong. I even told Adam earlier today, I said, you ever have one of those days where even every little mundane thing is a struggle? Do you ever have one of those days? And he said, yes. That's my day. And then I said, I wouldn't be shocked if my computer burst into flames here, right? And then I got an OBS update. I updated OBS, and everything went in the crapper after that. You can't make this stuff up, man. It's bad.
I'm
Dude.
going to tell you who's to blame.
Oh,
Is he
Jen is to
working?
blame.
Is he working okay?
is the stream working okay? I'm getting a bit rate warning in YouTube Studio, but that's not surprising.
What about in OBS? Does it seem to work okay in OBS? Or is it saying that it's crap?
Yep, OBS, no drop frames. Everything's green in OBS.
Then that's all that matters. Fine. Ignore the YouTube thing. Mine does that occasionally as well. I don't think there's anything. Fine, it's working then. Good. On with the show.
Yeah, I had to get out of everything that I was in. Appreciate your help, Nathan. Thank you. Okay, give me a couple minutes, folks, to find out where I was at.
Why you take a couple of minutes?
Yep.
There's a birthday this evening, so I'm not sure what Flatsy's duties are, but she might want to wish happy birthday.
Okay.
Oh, my husband's birthday is today. He's not going to be listening to this. He's at work.
We're
It's
making
cool.
him have to listen to it. You say, you got to listen to
Sure,
this.
I've got
Yeah,
this. I've
wish
got
happy
this.
birthday.
I have the most wonderful husband in the whole wide world, and I hope he has a wonderful birthday today.
Oh, that is the sweetest thing I ever heard.
Happy birthday, Sterling.
Yeah, happy birthday, yeah. 1 year older, yeah? Woohoo.
His name is Sterling.
Yes.
Now that is a cool name.
So is Booger's. Booger's name's Sterling also.
How's the cake going?
Oh, the cake? I haven't started it yet, but I'm probably going to have to start it in about an hour or so.
Oh, so you're good for super chats till after then. You let us know. That's fine.
Yeah, and I'll still try to. I'll be paying attention. I won't be just like forgetting about you guys or anything.
So save your super chats till Flatsy tells us that she's helping Bugger ice the cake.
This might be all good for now until I go to Discord and try to share something. It might overwhelm it. Let's go ahead and
go.
Let's go ahead and test it. We're gonna test it though. 1 second. All right, that's up. Share. Share your screen, Kiwi. Neil caught it. Kicked it up a notch. All right, it's settling down. It's settling down.
Let's play.
Now play yet.
Calm down.
I'm not. I am calm. I'm calm.
Yeah, I know, but just test it. Test it. Just
shut up. Jesus. It sounded like it sounds like you need to calm down. All right. Well, you actually shut up. You don't usually shut up. Are you still there?
no, my son's just wrong. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, boy. Okay. What I'm going to do is, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. Major technical difficulties, man. I'm shocked that I can even stream today. Let's check back here. Sorry about. Yeah, hey, Anthony, Sleeping Warrior, I'm going to have a little discussion with you. We're going to have to take a look at this OBS a little bit more in detail. So get ready for a call here in the next day or so, Anthony. CPU is 34%. It's never been that high, but we got it all going through the CPU. Not recognizing my graphics card. It's prejudiced against my graphics card for some reason. Freaking OBS. Still good though. Still looking good. I didn't preface this. I didn't orient you to this. We're going to just start playing this video over here. Let's see how it goes. And then we'll recoup after that. Here we go. Roohif, Roofy, the Numpty from down Undy, greater than infinite refraction retard, February 2021.
Literally prove that heat causes water to boil. How will you do it?
That's a tough one. You're really playing hardball now. Let's see. I'll get a kettle of water, and then all of a sudden, like, throw some fire underneath it. Good? What's next? How do we open a door?
You're going to heat something and the water boils. Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, you crayon-munching knuckle-dragging window licker. It's not supernatural, you bozo. How long is this going to take?
Right, so if heat causes water to boil, and if I apply heat, it will cause the water to boil. Well done, you've just affirmed the consequent. Well done. Affirm the consequent. Fallacy.
What in the great googly moogly are you talking about, dude? That's a classic modus ponens. You said, if heat causes water to boil, and if I apply heat, it will cause the water to boil. Well, if heat is P, causes water to boil Q, if I apply heat P, it will cause the water to boil Q. That's a perfect deductive syllogism. And affirming the consequent is if P then Q, Q therefore P. You said if P then Q, P therefore Q. This is a classic example of affirming the numpty. You!
Give me a logical syllogism that heat causes water to boil.
That's easy. We'll just use the one you provided.
Right, so if heat causes water to boil, and if I apply heat, it will cause the water to boil.
There you go, numpty. Thanks.
You cannot prove something scientifically. You can falsify something, but you cannot prove it.
That's numpty bollocks. If I falsify something, I ipso facto prove the converse true. For example, like I've demonstrated without a shadow of a doubt today, if I falsified that you're not a numpty, then I prove that you're a numpty. By the way, your mindless parrot of no science proofsies. From Lumen Learning, Biology for Majors forming a hypothesis. You must be able to test your hypothesis, and it must be possible to prove your hypothesis true. Duh. From Genome Research, 1999, Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory. Students are taught that the proper way to do science is through the following steps. First, devise a hypothesis, and then design experiments that will prove or disprove it. My word. From Anne-Marie Helmenstein, PhD, Biomedical Sciences. Requirements for a testable hypothesis. In order to be considered testable, two criteria must be met. It must be possible to prove the hypothesis is true, and it must be possible to prove the hypothesis is false. Duh. Let's wrap your dumpster fire up with Dr. Craig Venter, the geneticist of geneticists, Celera Genomics, National Institutes of Health. You know, there's some things we can do in science in terms of proving certain things in life we discover. Duh. By the way.
Math is a very big part of science, yes.
Wrong again, numpty. From Richard Feynman, the Feynman Lectures on Physics. Mathematics is not a science from our point of view, in the sense that it is not a natural science. The test of its validity is not experiment. From Dr. Carey Mullis, Nobel Laureate, Biochemistry. Mathematics, which is really not science. From Professor of Physics Black Krishnan, ITT Madras. That's the whole point about physics. It's not mathematics. So...
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night, the party's over.
You good out there? How'd that work out for you? Everyone hear that?
YouTube land was hearing it just fine.
All right. Yeah, we're cooking. That was Roohif, the Numpty from Down Undy. He is going to be one of the players here today, along with Fonda Love. Love. He's the server owner over at Earth Awakenings, which I affectionately call the land of misfit toys. So we're gonna have a little interaction between these two bozos and see how it goes. Now, I don't know how it's gonna go because I haven't listened to it. I'm gonna tell you what I did on Sunday before the divisional playoffs, NFL divisional playoffs. Before the game started, I was screwing around, and all of a sudden, Earth Awakenings pops up with their live friggin' stream. I said, all right, let me kill some time before the game start. So I started listening, and I'm hearing Clown over on his server. We'll get more into him as we go. And then I hear Roohif, and I said, oh, man. Turn around. The games are starting. I said, oh. So I said, the heck with it. I pulled up my software. What's it called? What the heck is this called anyway? I can't even remember. Whatever, so I could tape it, right? And I just said, okay, let me pull this up, and I'm just going to tape it from here. And then I left for about 6 hours. So after the games were over, I came back in there, and I had I had a lot, like 6 hours. So I just found the places where they stopped, where Geo and Idiot stopped. And clipped it right there, and I was cutting big hunks out of it, and so that's how I got it. So I don't know what's on here, so it's going to be a surprise for not only me or you, but me. That makes it a whole lot of fun, though. All right, you guys following that right now? Good?
Yes, and I must add, it seems a bit like we're a little too light on the amount of Nathan we have in the show, so... For the benefit of Nathan, who thinks that this show could be a little more Nathan heavy out there in YouTube land. I'm just kidding.
Why don't you just shout at somebody for a little bit for no good reason, and that'll balance it, won't it?
That'll balance everything out. So, and Adam is probably going to get a lot of messages from his message lover, Roohif, the Numpty from Down Undy. This guy that you just heard the Numpty clip over, yeah, he's that stupid. So I came across him way back in the day, way back in the beginning, because he used to be on what's his clown's name? Steve McClown of the Clan McClown show. Yeah, I used to drag little Roohif around by his short hairs. He thought he was he's an Evotard too. So that's what really went at him with it first. But he's a moron, evolutionists are morons. So we've had some interactions over the years. I've been going through some of the old videos, and I think I've caught him a couple times on Nathan's older shows. I'm going to see if I can't dig them out. But you just heard a shining rendition from this Numpty dipshit on the Numpty clips right here. So he's an old pal. The other guy is Geo Love. You see, back in the day, he used to be on 24/7. And that's right in 2018. So I think he was around like 2017, 2018 time frame. And he used to be on there. We never really, butted heads too much, but I could tell he had terrorist sympathizer capabilities, or tendencies, I should say. So I marked him then. So what this idiot did, because 24/7 was handing the ballers their asses one by one for 2 2 years or so. Just every baller that come in just get tore to pieces. And Geo figured that, well, since they're getting their asses tore up here, they need like an asylum, like some place to exile to. So he come up with his idiot server, right? To sort of bend and waver towards rubbing the ballers' feet and giving them hot chocolate and giving them venue to speak after they got their asses ripped through their throat for a few years. So it was sort of a sanctuary. So he made his Earth Awakening server over there. And I can remember about 2 or 3 days after the server, he established the server, I get a bunch of invites. Right, come on over, QE, do this and do that. I said, okay, I'll come over. So immediately when I get inside this Knuckle Jagger server, all these baltards start attacking, right? But they weren't attacking any flat earth arguments. They were attacking my military personnel records, if you could believe it. I had 2 or 3 of them attack, just go right at my military personnel records. Let me give you a little bit of background. My wife is ex-military also. My wife cannot access my official military personnel file. She can't do it. It's impossible. You can't. It can't happen. No one can see it. I mean, I have to take out. I need an act of Congress for even me to look at them, right? Because they're stored way in St. Louis if the warehouse didn't burn down again. But anyway, getting back to the point, I started getting pissed. I said, what are you attacking? You guys can't get into my official military personnel file anyway. Why are you attacking my military record? You got due 7 offsuit. You don't have any globe-tard arguments, right? And they kept going and going, and I start getting more and more angry. And the mods in his server weren't doing anything. I'm saying, finally, I started peeling the mod. I said, are you going to shut these guys up so we can get, on topic and get rid of the delusional ad homs they got at my military record? Guess what happened? The mods muted me. And let the baltards go on and on about my military record. With Geo in there. Ladies and gentlemen. That's how it went. That's why me and Geo, we got a little meeting one day. We're going to meet up. Everyone understand how this went?
It's personal.
It's not personal. It's his terrorist sympathizing. In fact, he wasn't the first original terrorist sympathizer. Issa was the first terrorist sympathizer. Anthony Riley, in fact, named him that. So I nicked that terrorist sympathizer off Anthony. I thought it was appropriate because Issa was terrorist sympathizing. But Geo, and then I called him Jane Fonda. That's where that came from. Before Hanoi Jaren. He was the original Geo Fonda. You know what I mean? But that's what he has over there. He has his Earth Awakening server, and I call it the land of misfit toys because all the ballers that we tore up for all those years and the pretender clown flat earthers that wanted to go over there and rub their feet, they all went there. And after a while, it was like I left the server immediately after the military thing fiasco. So after about a year or two, I said, well, where's all these ballers at, right? Guess where they all went? You guessed it. Right over there to get their feet rubbed. And they're still doing it today. They got to be allowed to speak. So you got the usual suspects over there. Brenda. Kosho. These morons, man. And all the pretender clown flat earthers that have regressed. They used to know all the arguments back in the day and it could deal death blows left and right. Now they've regressed. Now they don't know what they're talking about. A guy went in there the other day and started talking about star rotations as they're going in opposite directions. The flat earthers had no comeback. I listened to. I was sitting there. I couldn't believe it. I mean, not that I didn't bust that thing in its ass on May 20th, 2016. From then on, right? Not that you guys ever heard that before, right? Just the other day it happened. So if you want a good laugh, pull up Earth Awakenings. They have a live stream that goes on and on and on. They don't have previous videos. It's like a continuous stream. And it's like 10 to 12 hours and they start over again. Just scroll back, go back and thumb your way through it. And you're bound to find numpty dipshit flat earthers talking with globetards. It's hilarious. So that's what this is. So this is King Geo Fonda, moron. I don't know. He might not be a moron here, so I might be train wrecking myself. But like I said, I taped him up, and we're going to get a listen to that here in a few. So is everyone caught up? Everyone oriented?
What have we got to listen to? Not a pre-selected, just some kind of lucky audio dip.
Yep.
Okay, let's crack on then.
I figured it was bound to be good with the Numpty from Down Undy, Roohif, and him being in the Land of Misfit toy server. That name is very appropriate, by the way. Go ahead,
Brian. How much peace have you had from Roohif for such a while? This is going to trigger him, innit? This is your fault, QE. We're going to have Skypes from Roohif.
I haven't heard anything from Roohif for a long, long time.
No.
Since before the flight presentation.
Yeah.
Well, he's been in the Land of Misfit toys.
I'm thinking press play and incoming, Brian, for us both.
I don't know. We're going to take a listen to this so everyone's prepared. Okay, let me get...
There's no way Roofy's ego is not going to respond to anything we say. Because we're bound to have objection to it, so he's going to defend it. His ego will not allow him to do anything other.
Okay, so I recorded this on Audacity. That was my go-to for the Numpty clips, and I just hit record, like I said, that the football games were more important at the time. So it might be a little bit jump. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'd like to recuse myself from anything that's said here. I'm just going to play it, right? That's the best way to do it, and then we'll go from there. How about that? All right, so Discord. Let me check my computer. Yeah, it's running over. I still got all green, so that's good. Computer's getting a little warm because the CPU's using up 35, 36%. Thanks, Nathan. This thing might burst into flames. You never know. We're going to go for it anyway. All right, hold up a second. Let me see if I can share this with Discord.
Well, your need for speed it had a good run.
It did have a good run, didn't it? I still have my moral fiber, though. All right.
If you open a window, won't it cool it down significantly?
Oh, yes, it would, man. We're just getting above, what is it, 9 degrees here? That's how cold.
Get a pair of gloves on and save the show then. Make sure the show runs. Open a window.
I'm going to freeze my cat, too. All right, let's roll with it. Okay, guys, hold on a second. How am I going to do this in YouTube, though? I haven't thought about that.
That's attractive, isn't it?
Say again?
That's attractive. Is that what we're going to watch? Just the sound?
You're going to listen to the sound? Yeah, you're going to listen. Yeah, I have to do it that way.
Minimize that then.
Why is the Roohif video still playing in studio? That's strange. Okay. Whatever. Things are getting creepy here, folks. Okay, 1 second. Let me go back. Okay, I don't want to look at that. This is covering OBS. Just give me a moment to figure this out, folks. Okay. Up. Flatsy. Booger.
Yellow, red, yellow, green. Super chat.
Super chats. Super blowed up computer.
Sorry, he took forever getting to me. Misfit FB 850 cent. QE, your winter is down here in Florida, drunk in our backyard. Can you come get it? Much love and stay warm.
Thanks, Misfit. Did that cold weather get all the way down to Florida? That's what it sounds like.
Did you say that it was 9 degrees there? Are you talking Fahrenheit or Celsius?
9 degrees Fahrenheit here.
Oh my gosh. That is cold.
Well, it got down to 0 last night. So that's the coldest that it's going to get for the next week or so. So we may have survived it. Did it make it? The Misfit, obviously, it's getting down to Florida since winter is down here in his backyard. It's drunk in his backyard, so it had to make it down there.
Yeah, because you can imagine that winter in Florida it's just, I mean, it's silly.
Flatsy.
Yes.
What would you think?
You mean booger?
Yeah. Flatsy, you get it yet? Flatsy.
Booger.
Super chat.
Super chat.
He's in wild form today. Nathan Oakley, 1980, sent. Smash the super chat to support this channel.
Thank you, Nathan.
Surprised he didn't tell you to make the episode more Nathan heavy.
It's already been Nathan heavy. He saved this show, so everyone, Nathan saved the show for today, for up till until it crashes.
Shall we prostrate before him?
Prostrate, yeah, you should prostrate before him. Okay, let me get my act together. Thank you, Nathan. Oh, XP Black Eye said it's negative 33 degrees Celsius where he's at. That's friggin' cold, dudes. That's down there. 33 degrees Celsius. What would that be in Fahrenheit? 20? 20 degrees below zero? I don't know. I have to look it up with Celsius and Fahrenheit. It's a ludicrous conversion. Not hard, it's just not intuitive. Anyone know? Before we start? Minus 33 degrees Celsius. What is it in Fahrenheit?
Negative 27.
Told you I was close. 7 degrees off. Negative 20. Oh, boy. Steve Finneran, here by me. Steve is in Florida. It's currently 64. What kind of... That's some cheating shit right there, boy. 64?
We're going to Florida.
I'm going to Florida, yeah. Not me. Okay, you guys ready? I'm gonna give a 5-seconder and see if you guys can hear it. Also out there in Discord. I mean out there in YouTube land. I got to get off this screen though. Can't be having that up. Okay, here we go. I'll give you a $5. Let's go. Not playing yet.
Well, I mean, if you don't have proof that leads to truth, I guess you have you're just kind of like in a sea of subjective biases.
We're all good.
You good? Let me check.
We'll carry on.
Let me check with YouTube. YouTube, how's it sound out there to you? A little bit too loud? Ain't gonna matter anyway. Super chat, super flatsy.
Price of Adam sent. How much Nathan can I get for $2? Nice one.
Maybe a hang now. Here we go. Okay, let me go back. Stephen Davies, thanks, man. You're always on top of stuff, giving me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Here we go. We ready? We got Like I said, Geo Fonda. His name's Geo Love, but I call him Geo Fonda. It's Geo with a little heart sign, little terrorist sympathizer, right? So Geo Love, the chairman of the Earth Awakenings, Land of Misfit Toy Server, and Roohif, the Numpty from down Undy. Let's roll.
All right, so what were we on? Scientific methods and proving and
scientific methods. Geo, really? So there's more than one. Not starting off too strong, are you? Oh boy, this is going to be good.
Motion. Do you want to go back to the motion thing?
Well, for not necessarily the motion thing, but you can't prove an explanation.
What? Flatsy. Bugger.
Super chat.
Super sensual goat.
Sensual goat just sent the super chat.
Hey, appreciate
All
that.
right.
Appreciate that, sensual. All right. Boy, we're really rocking now. All right, let me take it back just a little bit. Sorry about that, folks. Get the whole thing here. Not the whole thing, but here we go.
Motion. Do you want to go back to the motion thing?
Well, for not necessarily the motion thing, but you can't prove an explanation with logic.
With logic. You can't prove an explanation with logic. Yeah, because explanations don't necessarily have to be logical, you moron. I'll bet you he doesn't know what explanations are. I guarantee it. Here we go.
You just can't. As soon as you make an inductive leap or an inference to an explanation, you
an inductive leap or inference? Super inductive inference.
Tony Whitcomb sent, in Duffy's head, it's 666 degrees, as close to hell as you can get.
Nicely done, Tony. Thank you very much, sir. So we got an inference to the best explanation. What? Huh?
You can't go back the other way.
What?
So we can't go back the what other way? Where'd we come from?
Yeah, as soon as you make a claim, somebody's going to stamp you to it.
That doesn't sound like Geo or Roohif. It sounds like Demok. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I am not to be held accountable for who's on here. I just thought it was Geo and Roohif.
No, I mean with logic, you can't go back the other way.
With logic, you can't go back the other way. Well, where was the logic at? And what's the other way back from logic?
It's like my explanation is this. If my explanation is true, then I'll get this result from an experiment.
What? No. You're a little bit confused. You don't make an explanation before the experiment. The experiment provides your explanation. So that was dumbass. Now, you do make supposition. You make a supposition. It's called a hypothesis. And then you test that supposition with experiment. That's how it goes. Not explanation, you moron.
I do the experiment and I get that result. Therefore, my explanation is true. That's a fallacy.
No, it's not a fallacy, you idiot. Did you hear that? What a clown. No, you should change it to your supposition, not your explanation. Supposition is first. Well, observed natural phenomena is first. And then you get your supposition, the predictional supposition, otherwise known as a hypothesis. Yeah? And then you test that hypothesis with experiment. That's not a fallacy, you moron. And by the way, I apologize again, folks. It appears the Numpty from Down Undy's balls haven't dropped yet. So he's really low, and Geo and everyone else is really loud. There's nothing I can do about that. Hopefully you guys are hearing. I can hear him here. Hopefully you guys can hear him in Discord and in YouTube. Can you hear the Numpty from Down Undy that his balls hasn't dropped yet? Can you hear him?
He's fine.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, and that's what the mainstream scientific method does, which is
Yeah, that's what the. So you agreed with him that it's a fallacy to make a hypothesis and test it by experiment? Geo. Sounds like things haven't changed much over the years, you numpty dipshit. He Jedi mind tricked you into thinking his dumpster fire. Conclusion. Good job, Geo. You're a sharp one.
specifically
You speak much.
what I'm saying it should not do. It should not be fallacious, but it's being fallacious by doing exactly that.
It's being fallacious by constructing a hypothesis and testing by experiment. That's fallacious to you, Geo. Oh, boy.
It's not fallacious because science doesn't prove things.
Oh, but it's now Roohif just went back on what he just said. He said it's not fallacious. It's is this a bipolar model? My God! All right. Any comments up until this point?
Yeah, the end of that sentence is not fallacious because science doesn't prove things.
Is that what he said?
That's why we do it. Yeah, that's why we do science, because it doesn't prove anything. Why go to all that effort?
Let's go back and listen. Sorry. In fact, let me expand this thing out so I can go back. Let's hear that. I didn't hear that, so here we go. Let's do it again.
All right, but it's using explanations to pretty much, okay, like, dude, saying it's not proof is such a semantic weird thing because, dude, people out there in the world, they think the globe Earth is proven. Dude, they don't.
Did I miss that? I must have missed 1 second.
They're not like, well, it's just a.
I didn't do it. Go back to where I told you to go back to. Sorry about that, folks. Let me stop. Here we go.
Yeah, and that's what the mainstream scientific method does, which is specifically what I'm saying it should not do. It should not be fallacious, but it's being fallacious by doing exactly that.
It's not fallacious because science doesn't prove things.
It's not fallacious. What he just said, it was a fallacy just before. Science doesn't prove things. On the Numpty clips, he said the same thing. So he's still on that science doesn't prove things idiocy. Right? I took him to the woodshed during the Numpty clips. I'm not going to show you again.
All right, but it's using explanations to pretty much, okay, like, dude, saying it's not proof is such a semantic weird thing because, dude, people out there in the world, they think the globe Earth is proven. Dude, they don't, they're not like, well, it's just a theory, an idea. They think it is proven. So if you want
to. They think it's just a theory or an idea. It sounds like Geo doesn't know what a scientific theory is. Shocking surprise.
And I'm not trying to get mad at you. I'm just saying, in general, it frustrates me the way it's set up like this.
What the way the setup is for what? More specifically.
But in general, but I'm just saying.
But in general, no, we want to get specific.
If you want to use like certain, I'm not saying you personally, but if someone wants to use kind of a certain interpretation of the words and try to say on a technical, I'm going to get you on a technical there.
What the hell is he on about?
Not really sure. He's yet to make the point.
All right, here we go.
If you want to do that, but dude, at the end of the day, when people are out there learning about science and all this stuff, they think these things are proven science. Every kid, if you just interview them, they'll be like, yeah, they already proved that men went to the moon and all this stuff. Now, whether they use that word or not, I understand. Maybe they're not connected to the technical use of it, but the way that they sell it and the way that they push all of this stuff is not just like, well, it's just kind of some explanations we have that we think point to something, but
huh? I'm still not getting it. Anyone else?
It sounds like he wants to point out that that isn't science, but without being too provocative so that you can move on. It's kind of skipping around the fact of what science is. He's alluded to what mainstream science is, and it's frustrating that the mainstream media present all of this cacamamie stuff as science.
Hold up a second.
In the generalness of it.
Hold up a second. Nathan, and people out there saying there's no screen share, you're getting my thumbnail. This is not a video. This is an audio recording. If you were listening to me like 5 minutes ago when I explained this to you, this is pure audio. Yeah, there's no video, just audio. Yeah, Everyone got that? You guys all right with that?
Yes, but I kind of had the idea that Gio was agreeing with Roohif so that he could lean into the globe Earth isn't proven, as if it's supposed to be science.
Huh.
I don't know.
Okay. Let's see where it goes.
Could totally be something else. It's more like it is this. All these things point to it, so it's that. Even though it's like, well, it's not. We don't know for sure, but it's that. Trust us, trust us, kind of deal.
It's what? Trust us with what? What are you talking about?
So there's so much of that goes on.
Right. They have reached their subjective threshold.
From Roohif, they have reached their subjective threshold. What the hell does that mean? What?
Is he
I'm
raised?
sure this is his. Sorry.
Correct on Flassy. I was just saying, did he say raised, not reached?
No, they've reached their subjective threshold, is what he said.
He's trying to rebut. He's trying to rebut Gio, saying they've reached their threshold of subjectivism, and they can go ahead and claim that the Earth is a globe for sure. It's no longer subjective; it's objective.
Who are they?
Buddy, your guess is as good as mine.
I figured that. I'd like to know who they are.
They consider to be true.
What they considered to be true from Mr. Balls hasn't dropped yet. That made no sense. Who are you talking about? Who are they?
This is not a secret.
Right, but it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be, well, I'm just going to say some ideas, and the idea I can't demonstrate or prove has to be the one we're going to sell to all the kids, and we're going to get paid millions of dollars to look up stuff that I can't do, can't prove, or can't reproduce. It should be something that you just demonstrate and produce and say, hey, man, I produced this. The scientific method should be something you can produce and do.
It is, but you can't prove things with it.
You can't prove things with the scientific method. He did it again, Adam. Idiot.
In a logical sense, you can.
In a logical sense? What? That natural science isn't logical. Now, listen, everyone. The scientific method itself is a logical sequence of steps. It uses abductive reasoning for the first 3 steps, and then deductive reasoning for the experiment. That's it. That's where it ends. It stays within the steps or the method itself. It has nothing. Logic has nothing whatsoever to do with the results of an experiment. Does everyone follow that? Any questions on that? It's very important. It's subtle, but it's important. Everyone got that? Any questions?
10-4.
Yep. Heat causing water to boil is not logical. It has nothing to do with logic whatsoever. That's what it does. That's what it is. No logic. Idiot boy. What a clown you are, Roohif. You still haven't learned.
Provide a shitload of evidence that reaches your threshold.
It doesn't prove anything, but it provides a shitload of evidence. When evidence is proof. Does everyone get that? Let me go ahead and do that. How can I do that? Let's pull that up. Take your time. You guys in Discord are not going to see this. And it's not there. It should be there. So he said, science doesn't prove things. It just more or less provides evidence. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. Yeah? What a clown. So let's destroy this. One moment, please. There we go. Put this down. Let's put this over. So, proof equals evidence from Merriam-Webster. Evidence. an outward sign, indication, something that furnishes proof. From the Oxford Dictionaries, proof. First word out of the gate. Guess what it is? Evidence. To prove, Collins Dictionary. To test by experiment. Proof synonyms from Merriam-Webster. Proof, confirmation, evidence. You know what synonyms are? You numpty from down Undy. Abject moron. This is getting...
In his defense.
Good.
In his defense, he has been known to say that words have no meaning.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, definitions are effing meaningless. Roofie. 2020? I think I have a thumbnail with that on.
There, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was there. And taped it. Yes, sir.
See, what is going off here? What is this? This is just Jedi mind tricking. Because actually listen to the substance of the argument. The thing that I use to prove things is a method that doesn't furnish truth. Yeah, it's nonsense. And it's also irrelevant to what's going off. Why he feels the need to undermine it, it's really interesting to argue why he argues this point. And I think fundamentally it's because a lot of the stuff that he would class as furnishing proof would be shown to not adhere to the scientific method, making it pseudoscience. Which is why he has to attack science in the first place, showing he doesn't, as we're outlining, doesn't really understand the definition and its purpose fundamentally.
Yep.
You consider
that's Roohif.
You can't.
Thank you.
Prove it using formal logic.
We missed a couple spots there. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go back. Is it going to do that? Yeah, it will.
Your three. You consider proof. You can't prove it using formal logic. You consider proof. You can't prove it using formal logic.
But you can't prove it using formal. You can't prove what using formal logic? The experiment. This is nonsensical gibberish. Roofie, are you on roofies? That didn't make any damn sense.
I don't like evidence. I like demonstratable stuff that's demonstratable, like with a real ball, and you demonstrate everything about your model and don't take it away from itself. Don't say, well, because it's small, we can't make you see what you would see from this. No, hell no. Forget all that.
Hell no.
Yeah, when you guys claim a model, you should break it out, or else don't claim a model and say we don't have any model other than just a whole bunch of...
They don't have a model. They never had a model. They say they have a model, and they ask you for flat earthers to provide their model when they don't have a model. They don't even know what a model is. We heard that earlier today, didn't we? Here we go.
Goopy explanations of stuff that we imagine to be evidence.
That's what
because evidence doesn't mean anything. So what's evidence mean? It's like garbage, right? Not even
models,
no point.
No, evidence is proof.
Models are explanations and explanations.
Models are explanations. Really? Citation, please. And then let's see that model, show the model, which you don't have, and let it explain itself.
Explanations. Right? And if we have evidence
no, not right.
That is consistent with the predictions of a model.
Models don't make predictions. What are they, little Gene Dixon models? Little Nostradamus models walking around? You don't know what a prediction is, Sunshine. And models don't predict shit. He has no clue what a scientific model is. He's just talking out his ass.
We have like a higher confidence that the model...
He has a higher confidence that the model that he doesn't have does something else.
Reflect.
I got a model.
So you kind of admit that it's a reification. That's funny. Or affirming the consequent. You actually kind of admit that. Like you were actually.
He doesn't know what affirming the consequent is. Did everyone listen to the Numpty clip?
pointing out that fallacy, as it were. So you actually are like confirming that. You're just saying that, I got you on a technical because actually we're not really proven.
He got you on a technical. What technical? What are you talking about?
Stuff, but we're going to give you pharmaceuticals and you're going to get on an airplane that.
What the hell is he on? Geo, focus now. What? Can somebody give him some Adderall? Please.
You better, dude, some should be proven if they're going to fly me in the air in an airplane, dude. I would surely hope some things have been proven.
What the hell does that have to do with the topic? Anyone?
I'm lost. Has he turned into B.A. Baracus and needs sedating to go on a flight? What's happened?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Dude, I'm not going to get on an airplane if some things haven't been proven. Bernoulli's principle and all.
Do you understand him?
Well, from what I can gather, what his point is that if nothing is ever proven, then how do airplanes exist? Kind of thing. You'd have to prove that this does what it can do and does it in a particular way. That's what I'm getting from it.
Well, yeah, but hold on. Wasn't they were just talking about natural science, though? What does the airplane have to do with that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a segue. I can't go further.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
The last thing I heard was to respond to was if your model predicts something and that prediction comes true, that gives you increased confidence, which is proof. If by his standards, the thing that doesn't really help you prove anything, the proof, the evidence, he's born basically out of confidence.
Yeah, but what's Geo talking about airplanes for?
I don't know why he went to airplanes and having to take drugs.
Yeah, and the pharmaceuticals, yes, exactly. He was calling you out, Adam.
All kinds of things of how air works and how flight.
How air works? What?
Air works really hard every single day.
Huh? What was that again?
Twice as hard. When air notices that there's an airplane, it works twice as hard to keep it up.
Okay.
And the atmosphere and air and how you.
Atmosphere is a paradox. Atmo means air, sphere, that's a shape. Gases, that air is gas. Gases have no inherent shape. Literally, you'd fail first grade intro to gas behavior. Every time you say atmosphere, you are failing intro to first grade, literally, intro to gas behavior.
I think that's mean.
Do you think I'm being too harsh?
Wow. For most people, yes. For Geo, no. He shouldn't be giving that away. He knows better than that, is what I would say.
Yes.
But for most people, I don't think it's a fair. I still slip every now and again, but when I do, I kind of have to catch myself and apologise to. You know what I mean? But
sure. I didn't context it correctly. Sure. He should know better. He's been out here at least since 2017. He should know better than that. Now, my neighbor's going to say atmosphere. I'm not going to stop him, right? You know, in the middle of, if he says atmosphere, I'm not going to say, oh, wait a second. You know, you'd fail first grade intro to gas behavior? No. But my expectations aren't on my neighbor. The expectations I expect from flat earthers, especially aged flat earthers, such as the pretender clown Geo, he needs to know that. So thank you, Adam. Thanks for pointing that out.
Get lift. Dude, I would hope there's some proven stuff that it's not just like, well, we're going to scratch our chins. It might be. We got some evidences that point towards it.
Evidence is proof, Gio. Sounds like he doesn't know that proof is evidence. My word.
So I'm just saying, dude, you're getting.
Go ahead. Was that somebody in the group, or was that during the audio?
I don't know, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop up if that's okay.
Pipe up.
I think, yeah. Geo seems to finally be mocking the position instead of. He seemed to be trying to affirm it before, but now he's mocking it. So he's got that at least.
So he's mocking what position?
Roofies.
Oh.
That there not being any proof, he'd be like, well, I would hope that there is proof of things, because if there's no proof or evidence that a plane's going to work, I don't want to get on it, you know?
So it's a more general proofsies rather than the subject they were talking about with science. It's just a more proofsies in general is what you're saying.
Let's hope, but I would say that they probably don't know what science is, and they're just...
Well, that's what they were talking about.
Doing. Yeah, I know. So there you go.
Okay, maybe they branched off without us knowing it. Maybe the Adderall didn't kick in yet.
Getting people on, it's a kind of, not you, but whatever. It's getting people on a technical.
Back to this technical. Does anyone know what this technical is? What are you talking about?
No idea.
Around claiming the definition of proof. While
claiming the definition of proof is evidence. And?
In the meantime, just swiping them on the back end and doing the very affirming the consequent thing and pushing that.
But not
what? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. He's like unglued. It's just mindless, directionless drivel.
Not you personally, but the authority pushes it as the thing.
The authority pushes what? What authority and what are they pushing? Huh?
The state cuck religion.
The state cuck religion? What? Huh? I don't know.
Yeah, they push evidence as the word proof when evidence
is proof. We just went over that.
It's just like, hey, I got a banana in my pocket. Does that mean I did something bad the other Thursday? No, it's just evidence.
What the hell, Democ? What? Now that's scary.
That's funny. That's what I got banana. What does that mean? Anyone just I got banana in my pocket.
Democ,
that's
what?
Not evidence.
What?
I've got banana in my pocket. That's not evidence. That's proof.
I'm not going to rewind that. That's for sure.
So, like, when I take a ball and spin it, what evidence is that the water isn't held on it? Like, isn't that 100% evidence water isn't held on that spinning ball?
All right. Well, let's not go to another topic. Roohif, did you want to respond?
He goes, Gio says, let's not go to another topic. When he just clanged around inside the funhouse mirrors between his ears, between different topics and subjects. Really? Thanks, Gio. You're a sharp one.
No, let's not shift topics. If we could.
Colloquially, if we're talking colloquially.
Oh, get ready to get screwed. We're talking colloquially now from the Numpty from down Undy.
Then the word proof, does not mean what we mean it in the logical sense.
So colloquially, proof doesn't mean the same thing as it means in a logical sense. Really? Show. Let's see that. Dumbass.
All right, there's different contexts for the same word.
Oh, there are different contexts for the same word, so go ahead. Floor is yours.
Well, I do want to address the spinning water.
But you went away from it. You didn't put the context in. So you're just a village idiot. You make a claim, no support. Thanks. We needed that. Now we're on to some spinning monkey ball.
So what's the point in it? What's the point in the word proof if proof ain't doing nothing, evidence ain't doing nothing?
Proof is evidence. I just showed everyone.
If I show you something that's not proof or evidence, I guess that doesn't work for some.
People have a hard time with this for some reason. It's very simple. See, if you have evidence, that's proof. Now, if that evidence, so-called evidence, turns out not to prove anything, then it wasn't evidence to begin with. Are you hearing me, sunshines? Play that back, rewind that back, and then listen to it 10 times. See if you can get it.
All right, you can't show anybody anything now. It's not
well, that's what I'm saying. You're getting it on a technical. It's a tech.
Oh, the technical's back again. What technical?
Technical file. You're trying to use a...
It's a technical file now. What might that be?
Little technical thing, because maybe if you don't want to call it...
Did I hip check you into the boards?
Proof, but really that's what they're doing. I mean, in terms of...
Who's doing what? What?
science, like medicine, they're trying to prove what things do to cells and cancer cells, whatever else.
What? What? Now we're on cancer cells. We're back in your neck of the woods there, Adam.
Medicine.
Well, he's talking about pharmacology.
Yeah. Yeah, lovely.
Okay.
That makes me feel at home.
Yeah.
Drugs and different blood pressures and stuff. So they're
blood pressures and stuff. We're doing the science of blood pressures now. Are we, Gio?
I've got one of them.
You have any proof of that?
Proving like, okay, this chemical does do this or does do that.
This chemical does do this.
And it creates this change in this body.
It creates this change in this body. Oh my God. This is like listening to Mr. Magoo give the metabolic pathway keynote address at the convention. I screwed that up.
Now, I understand you. There's all kinds of technical ways to describe that, but
all kind of technical ways to describe what?
And then when it comes to engineering, like everything practical.
Engineering is not science. So why did you bring up engineering now? Just bouncing off the fun-ass mirrors between your ears. We need to get a central line of Adderall for Geo.
Practical has some kind of like direct validation.
What?
Right, an actual practical application of things, of physics, like doing the stuff. Like you said, with the air, with the wind, with the water. You're doing stuff as physical attributes.
What are we doing with it?
To stuff. To say, hey, that's not the evidence of that, or that doesn't prove that thing's going to happen.
That is the evidence of that. That doesn't prove that, and this doesn't prove that, but that proves that. It's crystal clear to my whole audience. Thanks.
Happen each time if you do it a billion times and it happens. I mean,
what if you do it 999 million times? What happens then? Because you didn't reach your billion threshold.
I don't know. I don't know what's.
I don't know. Is that the title to your autobiography?
Proof. That's not proof. That's just your explanation being
What? That's just his explanation. Explanation for what? For that is this is not this, and that is not this, and this is not that, but that could be that. Is that what you're talking about, Roohif? Idiots.
Confirmed 1 million times.
Oh, now we're down to 1 million times. What about 1 billion times?
Not proven.
Just pause there. Just no, that's in contradiction to what he said. He said that's not proof. That's just you having your prediction confirmed 1 billion times. Previously, he's just said with his model, if it predicts something, that's a proof. This is where I don't know what point he's trying to win. This is just trying to get some kind of dominance to get somebody to concede.
Dominance over Little Miss Muppet?
Well, yeah, generally, because what is going off here? At best, he's going to undermine any argument he could possibly try to make in the future and cite it as science or proof. Yeah, it's particularly retarded to have to listen to.
Oh, well, you know, things can just cross this threshold of, uncertainty and be certain.
About this and that being this and this being that, but that could be that.
Precisely.
That's what I thought. This is incoherent, directionless drivel by 3 parties.
There's a certain logic you can apply to it.
Oh, really?
Logic you realize. Yeah.
Really? Post-syllogism.
I said I didn't say I'd present it in a syllogism. I said there's a certain logic you should be able to apply to this. Yeah, if you actually engage in a conversation about trying to prove something, and the beginning of your conversation with that person is that you can't prove anything, the question is logically, should you proceed? At what point, where can the argument go when it begins that, you can't prove anything? Proof doesn't mean proof. Evidence isn't proof. What's the point in then trying to present any of this stuff that isn't anything from your initial?
Thanks, Adam. That cleared up the confusion.
This is the trouble with not holding people. No, let me finish. Do you understand? This is where this conversation's now, what is now demonstrated, yeah? Or almost tacitly accepted, yeah? Because unless you hold somebody to task and go, what the hell are you on about, you absolute numpty from down umpty, yeah? I couldn't progress. At what point can I engage in this conversation? The point where I agree that proof isn't evidence? After I've conceded that? Where does... Yeah, there is no conversation to be had. All you've got is talking heads right now. There's nothing substantive can come of it.
But the globe is it just...
Oh, come on, Adam.
I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what. Every time that you start, just say done. How about that?
About over?
Over.
Shut up, Neil. Okay, is it over?
It's over.
Over.
The explanation.
It didn't go back. I got to stop it and go back. I'm just getting used to this. Here we go.
What the globe is it just the explanation being evidenced, you think, many of times?
Yes.
Just evidenced.
Just evidence, that's proof. So the globe being proved, yes.
Yes.
Yes, from the numpty.
But you don't know for sure, but you don't have a way to know that it is.
But you know, hey, listen to this idiot gibberish from these two knuckle draggers. Unbelievable.
You don't have the proof yet.
Now you
He has evidence, but he doesn't have the proof yet, folks.
Getting to into epistemology where
we're getting into epistemology. Now we're into epistemology all of a sudden. What's epistemology, Numpty from down Undy? It's like, how do we know what we know? What does that have to do with Gio's retard statement before that? I'll tell you, nothing.
Where it has reached my subjective threshold.
It has reached the numpty from down Undy's subjective threshold. The no evidence, no proof sees but evidence has reached his subjective threshold. Does anyone know what subjective means?
No, I was about to say, right, you wake up in the morning and somebody outside of this conversation, somebody says to you, what's your subjective threshold? And you say, other than knowing I've reached it, I really couldn't define it or how it would be applicable to it. What is this pseudo-psychology Freudian bullshit that we're now being fed as a justification to accept evidence which doesn't prove anything, to accept a ball?
I'll go ahead and look it up for everyone. I asked a question, but Adam had to get his piece in here. All right, subjective. You can follow along. You can paint by numbers. Subjective from Oxford Dictionaries, based or influenced by personal feelings, tastes, and opinions. That's what we need more of. What an abject clown Roohif is. Roohif, you're retarded. That's rhetorical.
I could have told you that.
Yeah, he's a retard.
For what I consider to be a fact.
His subjective, personal feelings threshold for what he thinks are facts. The objective. He needs to be institutionalized.
I agree. I'm not a fan of Roohif, so this is laying into him is going to be the best thing for you know.
A fan? He better hope a mental health professional isn't listening in on this train wreck.
Okay. Well, it has reached your subjective. I'm going to try to steelman that. It has reached your...
Yeah, go ahead and steelman that. OMG.
Your subjective threshold for what you consider to be a fact.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid. That's called non sequitur. Gio, do you catch that?
Yeah, but it was a good steel manning of it. I was about to do the same, like try to summarise what the crap he's just actually conceded there, which is that what a proof is when his subjective threshold is reached, that means it's been proven. That's his standards that Roohif's laying out happily for you.
But
it's bad when somebody steelmans your argument well, but it sounds like a reduction to absurdity.
Yeah. Yeah, this is stupid, man.
That's what you said?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
He Roohif take it as a compliment. There you go. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
He took it as a...
I wouldn't expect it any other way.
Let's get that again.
Thanks, here we are.
Let's get that again. Sorry.
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
we got to get the whole thing.
okay.
Yes.
Now,
stop it.
Or subjective threshold for what you consider to be a fact. That's what you said?
Yes. 100%.
Okay.
Yes.
100%.
Now, can you see why if you were to assert that to someone else, it may not be very strong? Because if it's just
may not be very strong, he may need institutionalized other than strong or a little weak.
Your subjective view and not actually proof, if they want to get truth from you, how are they going to get it if you're just kind of trusting in explanations
He's just going to overtalk him, Roohif the moron,
and not actually proving it?
Yeah, this is why the debate exists.
This is why what debate exists. There is no debate. How many times I got to tell you this?
Because there is no such thing as a logical proof.
There is no such thing as a logical proof.
Then we can throw out mathematics.
Did we go, Adam? 1 second. We have a light that needs to shine. Flatsy, would you go ahead and reveal what you just said?
Yes. So we don't have mathematics. We don't have languages. We don't have symbols. We don't have any of that. So you can't prove anything. So we don't have that.
Yep, that's what he just said, Adam. Especially mathematics, right? Hello, Adam.
Yeah, no, I agree. But what we do have, see, this is his quandary, isn't it? What tips his subjective threshold? Is it not that previous list that Flatsy's just given him? Yeah, but no, it's just his subjectiveness, how he feels this morning.
What does
he's denying any form of objective reality now?
What framework does mathematics is mathematics founded on? Would it be logic?
Bingo.
Geometry initially.
Ding 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 ding.
I suppose it's foundationally logical, isn't it? So.
That's it. That's one of the 4 types of logic.
Yep.
And I have to share this because it was really funny. Ender until the end in the chat is my friend Al. And he said, he is breaching the subjective threshold of my tolerance for stupidity. Nice one, Al.
Yeah. Roofy's a dumbass cracker boy. Anything else, Roofy?
Yeah, but you just said it was like a fact to you. So a confirmation isn't proof. A fact isn't proof. What? I mean, I don't even understand what you're saying.
His subjective threshold. That's proof, C's.
Brother.
Yeah, when everything that is predicted by the model comes true.
Predicted by what model? Where's the model? Can we see the model? And let's see it make predictions. You got a little Gene Dixon or Nostradamus or Jimmy the Greek running around. You know, little caricatures running around. There's models making predictions everywhere. You're an ass clown, dude.
And nothing is falsified.
Nothing is falsified? What do you mean nothing's falsified?
There is a point, and that point is subjective.
The point is subjective now.
But there is a point where I go, this is true.
He's just trying to wax philosophical puke on everyone. This is disgusting.
Yeah, but it's incoherent puke. It's got orange soda mixed with bees.
It cannot be false.
You haven't
my subjective level is 100%.
I haven't met a glober that's tried to falsify the globe. Ever. They just try to reify it. That's all they ever do.
Reify it or confirm it?
Reify it.
Make stuff up because they have no ball in their hands. I don't know how you can confirm anything with no physical attribute, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Roohif, doesn't it play that? I mean, okay, like if you come in here and you tell us things, like you come in and you say, the atmosphere does this with refraction, or you say this.
Refraction? What? Geo, do you know what refraction is? I'd like to hear your definition of refraction with the paradoxical atmosphere. I would like to hear that. Wouldn't everyone else?
Graph does this, etc. When you come in,
the graph. Did he say graph does this? Hold on.
He's paraphrasing Roohif because that's what Roohif does. So he's just paraphrasing him.
Oh,
and he loves a graph. Does Roohif? Yeah, Roohif loves a graph. Proves things. Graphs.
or you say this graph does this, etc. When you come in and you have that, I mean, you are asserting basically that this is true. I'm Roohif. This is the case. I measure this. I measure that. The Earth's curving. The things that you claim. So, I mean, when you come in, like, you're not just coming in like, well, you know, I have some explanations and I'm kind of going with, you know, you come in claiming, and that's why we even debate about it or people get into it, is because you're claiming something is true. They don't agree, or vice versa. So is that
claiming something is true, but they don't agree? But if something's true, that's objective, but people don't agree, that's subjective. That's non sequitur.
But like myself, he's a little long-winded, isn't he, Jay? But the first point, which is often the most pertinent, again, like myself, yeah, he makes it well, which is to hold him to what his proofs are. Oh, invoke refraction and put a graph up.
Okay.
That is Roohif's standards, and he's spot on, I think, Geo.
Okay. Sounds like we got a Geo simp on board.
Now what you're doing, because the word proof,
I love him.
You define it just as to establish something is true, which is one of the most basic definitions. It's in the dictionary.
Of proof. To establish something is true. Isn't that sort of redundant? That's not the proof that I provided with the definitions I provided.
I mean, maybe not those exact wordings, but
it's not the exact. It has nothing to do with those wordings. At all. That's kind of strange way to say that. Proof. I guess to establish something is true, I guess colloquially that would be okay. All right.
It's very close to that. So it's establishing the true nature of something.
It's almost a tautology, isn't it? I'll let that go.
By doing the proof.
Doing what proof?
So why is that something to avoid? If you're wanting to know the true nature of things, wouldn't you want to have them proven? And I hear what you're saying about the subjective thing, like prove to you, but I'm also just talking about like universal.
No, the proof is not subjective. It's not based on personal feelings, Geo. You need to stop sniffing the glue there. Okay? You're in a category here.
Universally proving. I'm using that as a separate concept. Between you just having your own subjective, like, I think this about that, you know, that's not, I mean, there's still people today that think there's no 24-hour sun or in Antarctica, you know.
That was a sentence fragment.
You know, they think that's proven or whatever. So, or they think.
Or that's one of my favorite words, whatever.
That's Banjo says it, doesn't he? Some of these guys still say. You know what I mean? So, like, you can think something is, you know, from your subjective thing of what you think is proof. Like, Banjo probably has his list. He doesn't think the footage is good. He doesn't think the map works that way. Whatever, right? He probably has his reasons. So my point is that if you don't have something proven and you're just going off, you know, anything less than that, then you can be mistaken, and you can think that your subjective thing that is not proof, I guess, for you, but is, you know. What were you saying? The subjective threshold of acceptance or whatever. Yeah. So
the 24-hour sun is a great example, right? To me, in my subjective understanding, that has been proven. Clearly, in Banjo's subjective understanding, it has not been proven.
Prove. Well, I thought you didn't believe in proof. Number one. Number two, what's been proven?
This is the thing, subjectiveness, yeah? So, and this is the thing, the TFE thing, nonsense, whether or not that footage is, it really is subjective because it's not been proven. So it's very strange. There's no solid proof of the 24-hour sun there, sadly, even after they all went. So many questions. So because of that, then your subjective threshold is that just that. Subjective because there's a lack of real proof of a standard that you would accept.
Roohif doesn't believe in proof.
Well, this is his squirm out and also the frustration, isn't it? And why I said you can't have a conversation because fundamentally we've not defined the word proof. How can you move forwards? Yeah, I know we have. What I mean is you have to hold somebody this slimy to that definition before you can move on.
I got you. Establish that first. Go ahead.
This is no doubt the delusion that you'll be given to because you hate the truth. This is the great delusion that you will be given to. This way of thinking.
What you call that thinking?
Exactly. That's see, I love had the simplicity of everything in life because it really is just that simple.
All right, 1 second.
Right. That seems to be the case with him. As far as I know, I haven't watched his channel lately. But...
The evidence, right? I come to that quote unquote proof by
quote unquote proof. What's that mean? Did he do the meat hooks on us? Probably.
Evidence. That there's no logical syllogism that I follow. It's just like, here is all.
What does logical syllogisms have to do with this topic? What?
The evidence.
What evidence? You mean proof that you don't believe in?
I can't see a reason to distrust the evidence, and I see plenty of reasons to trust it.
So you see plenty of reasons to trust the proof because evidence is proof?
This is the trouble, isn't it? This is so to stick with the TFE. Trust the evidence, i.e., is Jaron a proven liar? Should you accept his video footage? That's because the evidence you're given isn't evidence, is it? It's not a proof of anything in of itself. You've not validated that's true footage. None of that's got there. So we're actually just operating on the plausibility of an individual. Well, they're not the standards we work to. But he's saying, if I've got enough of this crap, I'll believe it.
Okay.
It never furnishes a proof, does it?
Stop. Sorry. Go.
That's it. It never furnishes a proof. You can have as much crap as you want that never ultimately proves anything because the evidence is questionable. It's not a real proof. It's a faulty experiment, you might want to say, yeah? Whatever it is, you can have as much of that. It will never, as much as you've got, ever prove anything.
Well, he doesn't believe in proof.
No, because what he's saying here is, if I've got enough of it, I'll accept it. Now, none of it on of itself is worthy of anything, but if I've got enough of it, I'll accept it as a proof.
That he doesn't
where
believe
he's saying his standards are, yeah.
He's got subjective proof, but he doesn't believe in proof. I think I got it.
I think it
has been proven.
So that's why using subjective kind of biases is problematic. And
you think?
Whereas if you guys both went off just the evidence or just the direct, like I said before,
my God, stop with the sentence fragments, for God's sake. Complete a thought. For everything sacred and holy.
Talking about the philosophy, I guess I did mention as
there we go again. What?
Asceticism, although I'm not.
What's asceticism? How did we get here?
Not really looping it all into different people's.
Looping, that's a good description.
Usage of that word, but
more like loopy.
But if you have more of an approach of just actually having a question, for example, Banjo, okay.
Oh my God.
If he hasn't been there, then when he asks the question, is there this 24-hour sun in Antarctica? In a way. If he has...
In a way.
Has never been there, then, he would only have all the evidence to go off that you or I have, or whatever he has access to, or whatever he's seen. You have the same.
What?
Yep. It's subjective.
And, well, hold on. Where was I going with that? I was going to...
We don't know. We don't know where you came with it originally. No one knows.
Say.
You're going to say what? Yeah? You thinking?
Well, I was going to say, so if it would then need to be proofed, as it were, you haven't been there, Banjo hasn't been there, I haven't been there, but you and I think that the evidence and everything that's been shown is proof that it's true. So we're saying it's true.
What's true?
It is there. Now, I'm saying, like, technically, I would say, like, I'm like 99.99% because I have not been there physically, but...
Is that subjective proof?
I mean, that's about the same I am with China or something. I've never been to China. I mean, am I 100? Yeah, pretty much, I guess, but like 99.99 until I get there, I guess. So I'm saying, Roohif, you and I, all the evidence that's out there that we've seen at this point, especially for us, we're, you know, well, to our different degrees. I just kind of explained that way, and then yeah, that it's true. Banjo has seen whatever he's seen, and he also hasn't been there, and he's saying, you know, it's not true. So
we're at loggerheads.
I'm trying to. What was my main? I know this has been meandering. Sorry, I was trying to get to the.
No, not at all.
He twisted himself into a knot, dude. These people.
What did he call it? Meandering. I think it's much worse than that.
The main point of it, which I guess is just that, like, you know, if he were to be.
If who were to be?
Okay, you and I think it's.
These last 2 minutes is totally understandable.
Is everyone keeping track? Is everyone up to speed? Everyone following along? Here we go.
True. And there's a ton of evidence for it at this point.
Ton of evidence for what?
Someone saying it's false has zero evidence other than an idea of an AE map with the sun doing that one thing.
What? I didn't understand that. I don't want to go back.
That's all they have, because I know that they don't have any footage or any people that went there or any trips there or any.
They don't have any people that went there? Who are they?
Anything to where they've gone there and been like, oh, look at that, the sun sets, and oh my God, it's dark here at 80 degrees, or if that's what they believe. You know, so there's a little bit of a difference there. Like, you and I are going off a ton of evidence and saying it's true. He's
ton of evidence, a ton of proof, not Roofy, unless he's using his subjective proof that he doesn't believe in.
Going off of, like, I don't know what he's going off of. I don't want to speak for him, but I mean, I know he hasn't been there. And I know there's not like tons of evidences of footages of the sun making a totally different arc pattern that rises in the northeast and sets in the northwest. Like, zero evidence of that. Even when the sun only does like 18-hour days at Union Glacier or at these 80 degrees, etc. Even when it only does like an 18-hour sun or a 16-hour sun, like when it gets later in the year, the sun still doesn't rise north of east and south of what? Sorry. The sun still doesn't rise north of east and set north of west. It still doesn't do that. In fact, it's extremely the opposite. Even when there's like a 20-hour sun or an 18-hour sun, it's like the sun actually rises way south of east, like way around your corner. If you're looking to the east, you have to turn way back. That's what it's doing. And it's whipping up kind of very low and then making that very low turn, and then it's setting way south of west. So even that is the 24-hour sun pattern as seen in the north, symmetrically in that fashion, in that way. So there's no evidence of there being darkness at 80 degrees or anything like that. So if somebody like him is claiming that, like I'm saying, if he was going more on a fully, or if any of those guys were, they would really just say they don't know, but they think there's not one there.
What? What? Huh? Where are we at now? Who knows?
You know, if that's what they really think, versus actually asserting there's not one there.
Not one, not what there? What's not there? Am I missing something?
I checked out a long time ago.
We assume he means the sun. There's not a sun there.
Okay.
Because that's where, like, going back to, I guess, linking it off in full circle, I guess, it's just having, like, personal subjective, what ends up being biases, you know, without being as rigorous enough, or like the other thing, using explanations, you know.
Using explanations? What are those? Just so stories. We can get down those. We can get those down on the corner with the village idiot. Explanations, they're a dime a dozen.
You know, without
earlier. So now Geo's using it as something that's not been agreed, and now a personal subjective. What are the standards for those? And how many personal subjectives does it take to reach your threshold to establish a proof?
It's gibberish to me.
Now, it's not, because it's basically kicking the can down the road to accept something that doesn't prove anything. Geo's just cited having sun go in this position, assuming it is visible for 24 hours in our winter, yeah? It now does this. Therefore, proving what? Proving it is still flat. Because when we saw it for 24 hours, it made it was a ball. None of these things prove anything with regards to what you're arguing about. Now, if you go there and demonstrate there is a 24-hour sun, you will prove there's a 24-hour sun. Well done. But as for the rest, I'm not sure what we're trying to give validation to assumption, aren't we? If I see a 24-hour sun, then it must be a ball. These are the standards that are being applied as proofs because it fits my model. My model says there will be. It is. Therefore, my model's correct. It is a ball.
I think you're reading. I think you're reading a little bit too much into this. If you got that much, I think you got a vivid imagination that he was on.
I'm doing. You've got to have one to keep up with this, haven't you?
I don't. Okay.
More full validation, then you could be incorrect. You're not getting the truth. You're not getting to the truth. That's the conclusion. You're not getting the truth that way. You could.
The truth of what?
Lead you not to the truth.
Truth of what?
By using the subjective biases.
Right. Explanations with validation.
Explanations with validation. There are no explanations with validation. Explanations come after validation, not before. You don't know what explanations are, Roohif, at a fundamental level. You're a moron.
All right, so you've got an explanation.
So I got an explanation. You're a moron.
To validate that explanation, you do an experiment.
Yes, we went over this before. No, you don't validate an explanation. You validate a supposition. Supposition, son. A predictional supposition, that's a hypothesis. Then you do the experiment to validate or validate the supposition, not an explanation, retard.
And the experiment matches
How would you?
What? What? Did that come off the video or from my room?
Brian's got to get out of the potato tree.
What the hell, Brian? If you're going to say something, continue to say it.
That's what I'm saying. I said, how would you validate something if proof didn't exist? Like he's saying proof doesn't exist. So how would you validate something if proof didn't exist?
Yeah, that's number two.
It's not possible. It's
exactly.
Completely 180 degrees opposed to each other.
Yeah, he contradicted himself with that. Well, before the first contradiction, before the first train wreck explanation before validation, before experiment is stupid. Yep, you got him.
And the experiment matches your predictions of that experiment.
Yeah, it matches your, not of the explanation, of the supposition, you moron.
Explanation.
Did your balls drop yet?
Okay, you have one part of proofing, but you still haven't proofed it.
One part. What was the one part of proofing?
Right, but if you then say I get the result that I expected if my hypothesis is true.
Yeah, you get so the experiment was validated, and
therefore my hypothesis is true.
Yeah, that's what you just said. That's a little bit redundant.
And the experiment matches your predictions.
Yes.
And the experiment matches your predictions.
Yep.
Of that explanation.
Not of the explanation of your supposition.
He's about to say, without realizing it, you proved it.
Because he's a double speaker. Literally double speaking.
He's a moron. Listen to him.
Okay, you have one part of proofing, but you still haven't proofed it.
Okay.
Right, but if you then say I get the result that I expected if my hypothesis is true.
Yeah.
And therefore my hypothesis is true.
Yeah.
That's a logical fallacy.
He thinks that's a logical fallacy.
Huh? You got empirical results correct, and that it's logical fallacy.
Adam, you take this one for a couple minutes. I got to go get some pineapple.
Adam, is he trying to not say the word proof or proof?
I think Brian hit on yeah, exactly that. It's weird, isn't it? He gets to a point where they say, this is Roohif. He's a very clever man and he's very well educated, and he gets to a point where he's explaining stuff.
Objection, Your Honor.
Yeah, I understand that's reasonable, but just bear with me. He gets to a point of explanation. He realizes he's about to contradict himself, so he'll do what he did there, which is then throw a curve, and then deny it. 'Cause
I consider that to be slithery and slimy behavior.
But yes, but so to know that you're about to contradict your argument or contradict yourself by stating known facts that you've know, because they're principles, to know that you're about to do that and change tact, Roohif does very well, and he demonstrated there. Or he's about to say prove, isn't he? And goes, oh, I can't do that, can I? Because of the position I'm holding today. They'll go in another day, and you know.
The problem is in English, Adam, not in Rufus. Because he had told that proof and evidence are different things or whatever, you know. But in my language, it's one word. That means there is no difference. I don't have that kind of thing to struggle, you know, which one I will use. I will use evidence or I will use proof, because both that verse has the same word in Croatian. It's dokaz. It's one word.
How do you say it in your language?
Dokaz.
Dokaz.
Dokaz. D-O-K-A-Z.
Dokaz.
Yeah. You can watch it. You can now type on Google dokaz and translate in English, and then write dokaz, and you will see, translate again, and you will see that it's both of them. Or write evidence, translate in Croatian, and then proof, translating in Croatian. You will get two same words.
What is moron in Croatian?
I think he's the same moron.
So, but what would be the point of the scientific method if it doesn't prove anything? What would be the point in doing it? Like, I don't get it. It would serve no purpose.
Hey, don't worry about his waxing philosophical puke on all of us, okay, man? Because really, it's a big nothing burger. There's no reason to ask why, because it's just dumb.
Not just him, even my son. Years ago, Flatsy, I remember my son telling me before Flat Earth was even a thing, in, let's say, 2010, my son would tell me, you know, Dad, science doesn't prove anything. It just disproves. Now you're walking around not knowing anything. You're like, oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's true. So they've been saying this for years. It doesn't prove anything. All science does is disprove.
Give me another minute.
Outside of that, I'm trying to listen to both, and I know QE's being super critical of Geo. I think it's frustration there, but I think he's keeping him on track. Just still getting down in a much more polite way to what does proving stuff mean? Because we're still at this point, which is what my frustration earlier. If you can't even define the word proof and how you prove things to yourself, there's no point you trying to show how you're going to prove the Earth's a ball to me, is there? So we've got to get past what a proof is. Does it have any merit or not? I'm not sure Roohif's yet decided whether it does.
Well, the thing about it is, in their world, in Roohif's world, and in the world of the people like Roohif, proof is no good. It's much better to not have proof exist. That way you don't have to prove your claims. You can live in subjectivity. And that's what they want. He'll live in subjectivity forever and say, it's a globe. Do you know what I mean? But when there's no proof, he doesn't have to provide any proof. Everything is subjective, which suits them, because they're living in a grey area. That's the borders. They live in a grey area, don't they? They don't live in the black or the white. They live in the grey, where nothing is anything.
Yeah, well, it's also another. You highlight their way of reasoning with gravity, therefore globe, globe, therefore gravity, like circular reasoning. And their idea of what the universe is, whatever that would be defined as, their idea would mean that they can't know anything, because there's a vast universe out there. There could be life on other planets, and all of this crazy nonsense, their religion doesn't let them be able to say you can definitively prove something,
Foxy, have you looked out your window?
Yeah, I just did a second ago.
Do you see the snow?
It's not snowing here. I live pretty far away from you, Neil.
I thought you lived an hour away. Yeah, I guess.
No, I live like 3 hours away from you.
3 hours away. Oh, okay. Well, I got snow on the ground. I thought I was in New York.
We go back. I lost my spot.
before you come back, just one last bit with regard to what Neil said in terms of disproving. It just disproves. There is that obvious third word that it's proving something then, yeah? So you accept a disproof, which in and of itself is a proof, isn't it? If I would say, oh, hey, look, I can show to you that heat doesn't make water boil, I've still proven that it doesn't affect it. Yeah, like Jaron did with his great experiment, when he proved that just putting rocks in water doesn't make it boil. He still proved that, didn't he? In that disproof. Right. So what is Roohif's standards, yeah? What is proof to him?
It's subjective. He doesn't know. So that was pretty funny. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find where I lost my spot. I think it. Oh, no, I'm right there. All right, we're good. Can we continue? After his last train.
I'm from like Jaffa in the mouth.
Yeah, here we go.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
So when you're in here, you're never saying anything's true. Otherwise, you're affirming the consequence.
I'm saying we cannot logically prove any explanation about reality.
Why is he back on logically prove an explanation about reality? What does that have to do with his experiment? And his explanation before the experiment? Nothing. He's in another category here. So, Roohif, do you know where you're at?
No.
You think what? That had nothing to do with his previous statement. Don't think. There's no thinking here. He's a moron.
Roohif's just put himself in the philosophical position where he couldn't actually deny that he's nothing but a brain in a jar.
I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah, he's gone to full, complete software. He's gone to I can't prove anything mode. Well, why are you here then?
I think it's a jar in the brain.
Very good, sir.
We can't logically prove Earth shape, Earth rotation, anything.
Who would do that? Who's going? That has nothing to do with logic. You abject moron. You don't know. I see the problem. He doesn't know what logic is. That's it. That's the one. Thanks.
Astrophysicists will do that. QE.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We have the evidence.
You already have the evidence. Evidence for what?
And it's unfalsified.
And even if you've got evidence, what would it prove?
The
evidence doesn't prove anything.
Exactly.
So,
he already said that. He just contradicted himself. Again.
Because if you want 100% universal truth, it just becomes an infinite regress at that point.
If you want 100% universal truth, it magically becomes an infinite regress. That's pretty moronic. That is a non sequitur from the Black Lagoon, whoever said that. I don't know who's in there, so that's pretty stupid. Thanks for your addition. It'd be wise to follow the mantra. I don't know if you ever heard this before, Mr. Anonymous, Mr. Helper here. It's best to remain silent and be thoughtful than to open up your incoherent blowhole and remove all doubt. That's what you just did. Thanks for that.
QE, go back a couple of days, because it's what Roohif says. He says, we have the evidence and it's unfalsifiable.
Yes, I did hear that.
Okay, I can't do J's on here.
How many contradictions can one man have? One, sorry.
I don't have J's on here. I've got full moves, mouse moves. Let's see. I do have time. 16. Let's go back.
Don't worry about it. It's not that important.
No, let's go back. I'll go back. Here we go.
Earth shape, Earth rotation, anything. Right? But we have the evidence, and it's unfalsifiable.
He has the evidence, but it's unfalsifiable. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, we can't logically prove stuff, okay, but it's not about that. It's about actually proving things. I don't know where he's going with this. I don't know how many ways someone can contradict themselves.
I don't know. He's going for a record.
No. Huh.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not to say a ball's spinning or not. That doesn't even make any sense.
Dude, there's a ton of stuff that's
it
proved
does
right
because-
today, dude. There's a ton of stuff like in chemistry, when you put two chemicals together, you've proven those chemicals create that reaction. I mean,
Okay,
there's
but
tons of stuff that's proven.
no. That's evidence for your explanation, but someone else could have.
That's not science, by the way. Just want to let everyone know that. It is part of chemistry, but not all of chemistry is science. A lot of chemistry is synthetic. Shout out to Adam.
Have a different explanation for that same evidence. That's what we're trying to say to you.
We're heading into the why, not the cause and effect relationship. Why sodium and chloride bond so beautiful? Is a completely different thing.
Yep.
As to stating that they do. Yeah. If you do A and B. Yeah. This explanation thing seems to be the cause of this disconnect. Yeah.
Yes. They don't know what explanations are. Any of them. Here we go.
This is my point. I don't have any explanations. That's my whole point. I don't have, in the method I'm describing, you don't need to explain anything. You observe it and report directly from what you got.
Good. What was that? Does somebody want me to pause it?
Yeah. What was the two? Was it sodium and chloride? Adam, you named it a minute ago.
Yeah, I just threw it out there as a.
That's salt, isn't it?
Table salt.
Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hence why I threw it out.
What's your point?
The only reason I'm asking is that there's a guy in there and he's trying to say, well, it depends on how you view things, blah, 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 blah. No, that will be salt. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. It won't be something else just because you have some subjective ideas. That will still be salt. Yeah, that's why
it's guacamole.
And that is the conclusion. Like water boils at this temperature. There's no need for like a theory, a hypothesis, explanation. There's none of that.
Hypothesis. You want to finish the word for us, please?
It's just it's a direct extraction from the actual observation and data itself.
From the observation and data, what is?
You can't prove a negative. You can't prove a negative though.
Yes, you can. -3. You can't prove a negative is a moronic statement. You can't. Now, the saying is you can't prove a complete argument from ignorance. -6 plus 2. What is that? Anyone?
-4.
There you go. Is that a negative?
You just proved the negative.
It's 8.
Okay, now listen to you. No, hold on. Listen to this. You can't prove a negative. What's wrong with that?
Well, he said you can't prove anything.
Prove mean?
No.
Prove mean?
Listen to the statement.
It's negation.
You can't prove a negative. Then how can you prove the statement that you just made? And it's a double negative, by the way. That's what I was fishing for. Don't worry about it. It's a minor point. I have fun with it.
I love pointing out that when things are double negatives.
Yep. That's our Mr. Anonymous guy, isn't it? That just comes in. That's the second, the second burning hot coals on his head episode from him. I think that's him.
I don't know what's that got to do
That's
with
fine.
what
I'm
you
not talking about. I wouldn't.
Because
yeah.
you're saying like, okay, let's say I'm flipping a coin and it lands on tails 10 out of 10 times, and then I tell you it always lands on tails. If it never lands on heads, I can't prove to you something that's a negative.
What?
Huh? What the?
Anyone want to take a shot at that one?
Well, you know what he's. I feel like we know what he's trying to say.
Don't you do it.
Okay, I won't do it. I won't do it.
You've been hanging around Adam and Brian too long. You just
Dang
take
it, Adam and Brian.
you just take what he said and that's it. God. See what you guys created?
You're welcome, Flappy.
You're welcome, Buttsy.
Now
Because
you'll know
when-
that there's really a problem if I start claiming I can read someone else's mind.
Showing, it's not that. If you show a little bit of empathy, he's on you. He's on you straight away. So don't do it.
Too funny.
Well, you're the one saying weird stuff. Don't add stories to it. Just watch what happens and record it and say, this is what happened the 15th time, Namak, and I say, I agree. What's
Yeah,
so
but
hard?
I can't prove to you that on the 16th time it'll do something different.
Huh?
The 16th time that you attempt to add heat to water, it may not boil, you know?
It may not.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, but I mean, it's until we see that in physics, then it's not really worth like
That's a
until
subjective
something
line.
changes like that. Like if tomorrow we walk, we
Are you trying to stop this?
Yeah, only because it's messing with my melon, right? So fundamentally, what's being cited now as a proof is a probability function.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's really messy.
Yeah, it is messy. He's just a moron. Can we get by it? Thanks.
we wake up and water boils at 201 instead of 212, or
at sea level? That won't happen.
Or it boils at 150.
It's not going to happen at sea level. You left a very important part out. With boiling point elevation or freezing point depression, you better add pressure because the temperature and pressure are connected by the lips forever and ever. So when you don't add it, it shows that you're a moron. Okay? Geo, you tracking with me, sunshine? Did you graduate from junior high school?
Instead of 212?
Don't answer that.
Or something. Like, if that changes, then that's... But that's the whole thing.
If that changes, then that's a sentence fragment. Then what?
Like, proofing something does obviously depend on there being a consistent reality that is real, meaning not something that's just bending, warping, and changing.
Like the uniformity in nature? Is that what you're speaking to? How did we get there?
Changing in some way like that. So, however, when it comes to physics, like, it does seem, I mean, I don't know about you, but it seems quite consistent. I mean, is anything, I know there's like variations in like sort of what we call gravity and different things like that.
Gravity? There's variations in gravity, Geo. Okay, I got a question.
Just about.
Wait a second. I got a question. Is this bozo a flat earther? That's my question before Adam jumps in. How a flat earther from 2017, how could he say that? Anyone, please. You want me to rewind it? You want to hear it again?
It's worth it. That's why I was aghast there. Yeah? I was about to give him praise. I was about to give him sarcastic praise by saying when he went, physics is consistent. Well, yeah, well done.
Okay, here it is again.
Yeah, and then he said that, and that, as you said, can any flat earther say that? What are you doing? Yeah, you don't define the word evidence, and then you give a baller. You invoke gravity. What the fudge?
Yeah, let's go back a little.
You're either the best trap setter or this is terrible, mate.
I may have went too far back, but we'll have to put up with it. Here we go.
I don't know about you, but it seems quite consistent. I mean, is anything? I know there's like variations in like sort of what we call gravity and different things like that. But I mean, why?
Huh? Oh boy. Okay, now I know that. Now I know why the Land of Misfit Toys exists. Because his brethren are there. Thank you.
Did he just invoke gravity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for people that go in there and stay in there and listen to the conversations happening in there quite often. I feel bad for those guys. Like, do they not realize that they're listening to a bunch of crap?
I don't know. Thank you very much. Appreciate that one. Glad I taped this.
Water boils. I mean, the physical world is very consistent in terms of airplanes fly correctly every day.
Really?
Stuff like this. It's not like things are just changing out of the blue. So, I mean.
Yeah, you're talking about the uniformity in nature. You already brought that up. Can you conclude and get to a point?
That's just evidence for your.
And airplanes ain't part of the uniformity in nature, just by the way.
Objective truth, though, because we could say, yeah, water always boils at this temperature.
At this temperature and what?
Right? But.
No, you didn't complete the statement, Mr. Helper moron. It appears you haven't graduated from junior high. That's why I said before, it's better just to shut up.
He hasn't graduated from FED.
It's also not science.
Nope.
The water boils at 100 degrees. That's not science. That's just a factoid. If you did want to clarify it with the SDP, yeah, that's fine. But that's not science. That's not what the method yields.
Correct.
It yields a cause and effect relationship, not a factoid quiz answer.
Good job, Adam. Thank you for bringing that up.
If I can't prove the negative of my explanation.
If you can't prove the negative of your explanation, what in the world we got going on here? By Mr. Helper. Who is this douchebag? Yeah, let's go back. Let's get the full thing here. Make sure I hit stop. And then here we go.
I can't prove the negative of my explanation. I could never prove my explanation.
What? What the hell was that? If I can't prove the negative of my explanation, I can never prove my explanation.
That was deep, bro.
Anyone, the floor is yours.
Don't you put that evil on me.
I'm hesitant to call out Adam here because it's bouncing through his brain. He's trying to find at least a tadpole of logic in it. I already found it, but it's incredibly stupid.
I've only got one response, and I've stopped myself saying it because it's a little bit crude.
Then don't say it. Let him go. Thanks.
Right? So one person could say it's for this reason, and another...
What's for what reason?
Person could say it's because God's always making it boil at that temperature.
Huh?
Right?
What?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So let's go fully Catholic. What is the cause of everything? God. Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's a little weak. Not really applicable, once again, to the scientific method, as you've just invoked the supernatural. But, yeah. What?
He doesn't know, Adam. I don't even know why he's in this conversation. I apologize to everyone out there. If I would have known he was in here, I would have deleted his dumbass. But you know the conditions before we started. That's what you signed up for.
The explanation is irrelevant.
No, it's entirely relevant because all you're doing is providing evidence for your explanation. You can't.
You're providing evidence for your explanation. What? Which came first?
The trouble with invoking God is that
he's still on God back here.
Yeah, because unlike Jaren, God could just put rocks in water and make the water boil. Because that is the cause would be God, obviously, not necessarily the rocks, but This is where are we bum sniffing now? That this level of logic and I don't know. Is it support? For
where are they bum sniffing? I'm not bum sniffer.
You should indict me now. I'm trying to figure it out.
Fair enough. Here we go. Hopefully he stops.
Can't say it's universal truth.
No.
That's why we're saying stop making stuff up. You're just making stuff up and selling a story. You're like, hey,
wait, you're kind of saying the opposite. Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, dude. So we're going between, like, let's just say if we use like the modern kind of parts of this modern scientific paradigm.
Parts of the modern scientific paradigm. What?
Versus, I did mention the word Zeteticism, but I mean, I'm not necessarily, like I said, associating any of these thoughts directly with them, although that Zeteticism came from the science that came before the modern Rockefeller takeover.
Pause. What? Pause. Yeah. This modern scientific is Geo, just let me, are you just politely saying the bullshit pseudoscience that makes you believe it's a ball, Roohif, when you say that? Because this is the trouble with being polite sometimes. You don't actually make your point because you're too scared to offend, because actually what you're saying is this is nonsense. This non-evidence evidence that says you prove things isn't even that. What? Anyway.
So I go away just for a couple seconds, and you, all of a sudden, what do you get, a disease? You stop talking?
I didn't know what was going off. I thought I'd got more sound problems again. I've dropped and
I thought I lost connection.
I didn't know what's going off. I'm just reading.
You never told us you were leaving.
I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you guys when you start talking. So here's my rules. If Brian starts talking or Adam starts talking, I got a good 2 minutes that I could take off and get something done. Now, usually that works out for me really well. This time, I got compromised.
You know, and I respect that honesty. So let's press play.
Okay. Yeah, my wife came home. I wanted to go out and talk to her for a couple seconds. I wasn't out there that long.
So that's why there's some legitimacy in terms of it, in my viewpoint on that. It actually carries from what science was originally and not this.
What was science was originally? Can you tell us that? What does this have to do with Zeteticism? What does this have to do with anything related to this topic? Please, floor is yours, Gio.
Twisted thing. Because you keep saying, I mean, so the thing is what I'm describing is a method where you don't need to make you don't need to make up any story.
You don't need to make up what's a hypotha? Define hypotha. Sentence fragment, idiot.
Story or explanation for anything. You don't need to be the, some kind of ultimate explanation maker.
That's not what we're doing here. So what's your method?
All you have to do is go into the world. You could ask a question like, why does the water boil at or what temperature does water?
Why does the water boil? No, that was the right one. Not what temperature. Why does the water boil? That's the question. Yeah, idiot.
Water boil, or is moonlight cold, or
is moonlight cold? Oh God.
What happens if I add these two chemicals?
What'd you say, Adam?
I shouted, yes, it is.
Please don't.
Add these two chemicals together. For example, how about that one? I have this chemical, that chemical. Question: what happens if I add them together?
Question: that what happens when I add them? So you're just randomly adding chemicals together? Do you have a life insurance policy?
That's what's called a double blind chemical.
Yeah, it's a double blind physics experiment. Shout out to Flat Earth Math and the doofus, the Spunkmeyer. Where's he been? what's his name? What the hell? What I see his avatar. You guys know who I'm talking about? He was the first. He was the first one. Huh?
Sean Hawkins.
Not Sean Hawkins. He was the first guy. Not Sean. I called him Spunkmeyer. Sly Sparkane. Him. He was the one that came out. Yeah. Where's that Numpty dipshit been? Is he over there at the Land of Misfit Toys or what? He was the first one. He Jedi mind trick flat Earth math in the claiming double-blind chemistry or physics experiments. The one that my wife fell at when I first told her. She was laughing so hard. But anyway, I digress. I'm sorry. Let's continue.
I add them together. It makes a huge explosion of foam. You've seen those?
A huge explosion of foam.
To make foam or whatever. The conclusion.
I'd like the or whatever part. It's probably the whatever or whatever.
The conclusion just comes directly from that data.
The conclusion comes from the data. Wouldn't the conclusion come from the result? What data did you get? Is exploding foam data? My God.
It's just directly like when these two chemicals are added.
We got it the first time.
That explosion happens, and it happens.
That explosion happens, but you couldn't write down the data because it blew you into the next Sunday. Idiot.
Happens so consistently, and then if you bring in variables and you make sure, etc., then you have proof that. And until it stops happening, if it stops happening tomorrow, we can change. We can talk then. But I mean, until that changes, I think those chemicals are always going to do that. From what I've.
You think? Those chemicals. Wonder what they are.
Observed in the physical world.
It's recording the outcome.
What about just sodium and water? How about that one?
I was thinking Pepsi and Mentos.
Pepsi and Mentos. Yeah, that would do it. Yeah. Too funny.
I can't possibly I can't possibly control all the variables I don't know exist, though.
Oh my God, that's an argument from ignorance fallacy.
What have you got to control when you mix in Pepsi and Mentos? Just don't get any Coke in there. Don't throw an opal fruit in. You know what I mean? Just put. That's it.
Don't put any hydrogen. Don't put any hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah. Uranium, definitely no.
Depleted
I think
uranium.
what he's saying is.
Who's friggin' interrupting me all the time? Who is that?
It's my friend
Neil.
Brian. Yeah, I thought it was Flatsy.
What the hell is going on with your mic, Brian? Do you have like potato skins caught in it or what?
I'm using a different. I'll go back to the other headphones.
Yeah, thanks.
You sound like you got a bad cold, like you're full of phlegm.
Is that a phlegm mic?
A phlegm mic.
I like how you tried to blame me.
I didn't. Did he try to blame you?
Yeah, Adam.
Adam did. Yeah, you got to watch him.
What?
You don't have to. You can. So the thing is, when you set up an actual experiment for something, you're
an experiment for something. So what do you do when you set up an actual experiment for something?
You're setting it up within those confines. So like if you're
what confines?
If you're measuring water boil at a particular altitude,
that's not an experiment. You just sacrifice.
But listen, at a particular altitude, you just critiqued. It is very slow. I think we've got to just take a moment because we're saying things and that should be instant, but look, the respect to Gio is getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not an experiment. Yeah, shut up. That's not an experiment. Number one. Number two, yes, he said altitude. He didn't say the change in pressure, though.
Oh, come on.
I'm not giving it to him.
I'm allowed to. You know, okay, press play.
Let's see where he goes. Let me go back a little bit. I'll go back to there. Here we go.
Water boil at a particular altitude with a particular vessel, a type of water. Then that's what water boil at a particular altitude.
A type of water. What type might that be? My God.
Altitude with a particular vessel, a type of water.
Oh, he's into the vessel. So do we have to have a specific vessel? Is that going to change things? Oh,
you see no. Okay. So that is unnecessary knowledge, and it's born out of Jaren, isn't it?
Yep.
His presentation of superheating effects with different surfaces and how you can react at different temperatures. It's not relevant to what you're proving, because again, we're talking about different temperatures. Is it different? The temperature's irrelevant as to whether or not heat causes water to boil. That's what you're proving here. Nuances, yeah.
That's not what he's doing.
No, that's what people are forgetting. But we explain we explain too much. Go back to what the statement's about, not give apologetics for that's the crap that Jaren put in when he tried to prove that science doesn't prove anything by proving that you can superheat stuff.
Yeah, but this was an experiment to begin with, Adam, so he's just trying to see the changes in temperature. That's not science.
Then that's what you're proofing.
You're not proofing. That's not a proof. It's a what is. You moron.
Just because it's different at different variables.
This paradigm, right?
Just because it has different variables. What?
You proof it within the experiment itself.
You proof what? Within the that isn't an experiment, by the way. This is nonsense.
That's what a proof is.
It's what you get proofs from experiments, yes, but you don't have one, so that one specifically, that's not a proof.
Within the actual experiment is what you're proofing. In terms of all of those factors, and even if there's other factors involved, that would be
in terms of what factors and the other factors? What are you talking about?
Different experiment that's studying those factors.
The studying what? It's too vague. It's nonsense.
Those additional ones. So it's still proofing within its category.
I can't control for variables I don't know are there, though.
Another Jaren remark.
You can't control for variables you don't know are there. That's an argument, textbook argument from ignorance fallacy. Look it up. He's a moron.
What they're saying is,
I know what he's saying.
When Adam adds sodium and chloride together, after 15 times he does that, he comes out with salt. It's possible on the 16th time that he'll create milk.
Yeah, that was before. That was before. You need to catch up. You missed some stuff with going to get that other mic.
No, that is basically what they're saying.
No.
Did he just say, I can't control for unknown controls?
Yes.
That's known as the Donald Rumsfeld fallacy.
I don't know, but it's dumbass. It's just the textbook argument from ignorance fallacy. He's a dumbass. He already proved he's Mr. Helper. Remember when he train wrecked himself before? We can maybe he'll leave. One can only hope.
Right. So if someone
wrong.
Let's say someone believes in the ether.
Oh my God! Oh, this is really. Let's say somebody believes in the ether. Okay, this will make it juicy.
How do I know water only boils at that temperature? Because there's a constant ether that makes that happen.
Because there's a constant ether. We're doing that again. Sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
I'm not. No, you can, but listen to what. So this is what we fought against. Okay, this is what we fought against. This idiocy from Whitsitt and Jaren. This is what's being purported here and presented as a possibility to attack a baller. I think I could use an Ethereum argument to destroy Roohif. Yeah, listen to it. So and then the actual proof comes with, imagine you're an Ethereum and you believe. This is the trouble with the quality of the arguments, yeah? This is why we get frustrated, because listen to what you're bringing to the table. Why the shite should anybody have to go to imagination land, become an Ethereum, for you to be able to prove anything? Not that that evidence would constitute any proof.
Yep. He's giving you example here, Adam, of the unknown constants. So listen closely.
Right. So if someone, let's say someone believes in the ether, how do I know water only boils at that temperature? Because there's a constant ether that makes that happen.
What?
In it, you see.
What the?
I thought the ether rotated and therefore wasn't constant. So I should have fluctuations in my boiling point as it rotates.
And the placement within the toroid.
Yeah. No. Oh, you're getting good.
Yeah, but that's not
I know.
relevant though.
It is relevant because
super ether.
Sorry, I missed this one because I've already started on Sterling's Hake. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Daz888 sent Australia. It's not down under, it's out yonder. I like that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Daz. And you're right. Appreciate the super chat. Fair enough.
It's not relevant to the actual,
I'm
what
not
actually
saying
happens.
the explanation is entirely relevant.
What explanation? Do you know what an explanation is?
Well, I'm not really getting your point. Could you say it again?
Oh God.
Okay, so let's say you're setting up an experiment, right?
Why would we do that?
If I don't know a certain variable is happening to control it,
if I don't know that a certain variable is happening to control what? What the hell are you talking about?
then obviously that consistency is going to lead me to a certain amount of
what consistency? Of that variable that you don't know that is controlling it? What?
Evidence for something I believe.
What? He needs to be institutionalized.
But if I can't control for something I don't know is happening, because I don't have an explanation for it, then you can't say that that's 100% proof.
Maybe if they just keep saying it, it'll be true.
This is recent, isn't it? Yeah.
This is Sunday.
So this is the cancer people that Whitsitt and Jaron spread amongst you. This is a flat earther, isn't it? Addressing a ball.
I sure hope not.
Well, then I don't know what's going off. If that's a baller, listen to it. What the fudge?
I have no idea, Adam. It's whatever it is. It's friggin' scary.
It's Jaron. Listen to it.
This isn't Jaron.
Ethereum nonsense. I can't say that adding heat to water will make it boil because there may be an imaginary fourth dimensional medium that's rotating that may or may not have an effect. Therefore, adding heat to water doesn't necessarily make it boil.
Yep, you got it. That's exactly what you got here, folks.
This is Jaron, according to Whitsitt.
Wow.
You need to go back and listen to when he and I were debating, quote unquote, about heat in the scientific method.
No, thanks.
His defense of Jaronism, his defense of Jaron was to use these arguments for Jaron, because it was Jaron's points that we were, quote unquote, straw manning.
If you say quote unquote one more time, I'm going to kick you out of the server.
He's making a bloody good point. Let him talk.
I am. He's being a dick. Yeah, for real. Because the bottom line is the same thing this guy is doing, which it was recorded doing to me when I was explaining to him. He calls, well.
Okay.
We all know. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. I can't remember the actual discussion that you guys had, but I faintly remember something like that. So, okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess my response to that is that what you're doing, like if you're going to set up an experiment for something and you have some kind of inquiry that you're going into it.
You set up some type of an experiment for something because you have an inquiry. Why would you have that?
And under those conditions.
Under what conditions?
With all the factors you had, like I said, the example, like
all the factors I have. Are you meandering again?
For example, like altitude changes the boiling level of water.
Altitude changes the boiling level of water? I guess I can give it to you. I know what
Don't
you...
be a bitch.
Don't be... I'm not going to be a bitch. I'll give it to you. Okay. It's a little bit stupid. Stop meandering.
So if you were at ground level and you boiled water and you're like...
At ground level, he's teetering at him.
Yeah, okay. See, can I interpret? Sea level. Sea level.
You're simping for him. I kind of like it. Yeah, are you his lawyer?
The thing is, like I just said to you, I talked about the cancer that's in there.
Yep.
Can you see the light that's at the back of Gio's head? It just won't come out right, will it? It's there.
Is it there? Can you see it there?
The knowledge is there. It's just not been ordered correctly, in my humble opinion.
All right. Fair enough. Jesus.
It's 212, and then you just made a statement. This would be some kind of a leap if you just said, it's 212 at every altitude. Well, you didn't test for altitude. So if you're going to make the claim it's 212 at every altitude, then your thing will be wrong.
Your thingy? That's not an experiment, by the way, but I see where you're headed.
You know, you will actually have it wrong because there's an unknown variable, i.e. altitude, that you didn't account for.
Didn't you account for it?
Right, pause. This is the retardedness of this conversation.
Yep.
So you got unknown knowns, yeah, from the Ethereum, and then a conflation that somebody who's boiling water at sea level couldn't recognise the point that if they boiled it at the top of the mountain where their house is, because they bent down to sea level to boil it, that's at a different height, and that is maybe something. Especially if he got a different result for the temperature after he created his own grade. Not just observing the fact that whether or not heat caused water to boil.
Yeah.
Do you see the point?
Yeah.
So nobody knows what science is.
Yeah.
For. However, if you took the actual proper test and you said, okay, at this altitude with this, et cetera, you set it all out, and you said, I can prove that at this altitude, it boils at 212, and you have to add with the altitude, etc. That well, either way, you don't even have to add that. You would just have to claim all of the features of the experiment to have them all covered.
But have you tried feces maxing at high altitudes?
Did he say feces? What? What was that?
Sounded like he said feces.
Let's go back. What was that?
All covered.
But have you tried feces maxing at high altitudes?
Feces maxing at high altitudes? What?
I'm gonna have to look that up.
No, please don't. Don't do it. You're a young man. Don't do it. I'm not playing that again.
Does he mean shite?
I don't know. Let's move on.
Right. So in that example, that you're kind of saying what I'm saying, though. So
in that example, you're saying what he's saying, though.
If I took the test originally, if I always boiled water at a certain altitude, that would lead me to believe, okay, water always boils at this temperature. But then because I didn't know about the control factor of altitude, now when I finally figure that out and do it, and it boils at a different temperature, that would change my belief that water only boiled at that other temperature.
That's amazing.
Well, then you would have made a faulty leap or like a theory or an assertion that it does that at all altitudes, because the thing about altitude is not, I mean, I guess if you're making a scenario that somebody was like,
I thought you were going to smash him there. Then you would not understand what science is.
Yep. You got it. Yep. Too bad. Don't be lawyering for him. I'm telling you, you're playing a dangerous game, Adam.
I can't hear. I can't hear now because he's invoking that by mitigating and dealing with the variation in temperature at altitude, that somehow that has anything to do with the scientific method and what adding heat to water proves.
Yeah, this isn't science at all. It's mine.
It's a conflation, and it's kind of Roohif science. You take all the things that you know them true, and if you put it all together, you can have some of the pseudo quasi experiment that ends up not proving anything and allowing you to move forward.
It's the unknown known variables, Adam.
Cave somewhere and they've never been outside or something. But I mean, we know
if we were in a cave and never been outside or something, really?
No, there's like sea level. We know what elevation is. We walk.
Elevation is elevation, yes.
Up and down things. So elevation is obviously a thing, altitude. So it would just be logical that, of course, you would incorporate that. Like if you're going to be like, what temperature does water boil at? That's just one of like the features. Like if you just were to look at the whole features, like what are you? Okay, you're a human being. You're in a room or a house. You're on Earth. There's a sky. There's a ground. There's a sea level. There's an altitude.
Oh my.
You're either at 10 feet altitude or 100 or 1,000 or 5 miles, whatever you're at, altitude. And so that would just be like when you're jotting things down, like, okay, I have water, I have a vessel, I have this heat source, I have whatever. You would just jot, that would be just one of the features of the actual experiment. And that feature.
You're not doing an experiment here.
When you fill in that spot of altitude, since it's a clear thing, you're on Earth boiling water, you then incorporate that altitude and you say, okay, at this altitude. So that's one of your little check boxes of your experiment. So that's one of them.
Not an experiment.
So that means you're only concluding that it boils at that altitude, at that temperature.
Oh boy.
But if you go to if you go to like up at a high mountain, it's not the same experiment. You now have to incorporate.
Not an experiment to begin with. Not only not the same, it's not an experiment.
So it's not a cause and effect relationship anymore.
Correct.
All of those experiments.
He's trying though. Like
Another
I unfortunately. I unfortunately feel like Gio, especially when I'm in there, he's the one person that moves people over and allows me to do the thing.
I didn't catch that. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. And allows what?
Me to get points across, give citations, holds them to answer for it rather than just give a non sequitur or a red herring. He does attempt to do that when I'm in there. I feel like right here in this situation, he's trying. Because as far as I'm hearing, he's saying, well, when you do an experiment, which we know it's not, at one altitude, it's this. At another altitude, that's simply another independent variable. That's a new test. I feel like that's what he's thinking.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I got you, but it's still nonsense. But he's trying. I got you. Oh, bless. You got another one in your corner, Adam.
Incorporate an altitude of.
He could be co-counsel.
Thousands of feet, 5,000 feet or whatever, to where now that's where you fill the box in. And you've proved two things, water boiling at two different areas, without any problem with that variable.
What variable? Altitude?
Okay, so let's say I'll just use God because this is like.
He's going to use God? Oh, no.
The easiest form to do this. In any experiment, how would I control, let's say you're religious, how would I control for the factor of, okay, let's say, how do I know this would happen if God didn't make it happen?
What?
I have no idea, seriously.
Let's continue, but that was...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, so
there's always going to be
It was is that what you said? Anti-profound?
Yeah, I think.
Well, let's see if he can expand on it. I think it's going to be a disaster.
Okay, so there's always going to be a factor that I can't account for. Okay, so there's always going to be a factor that I can't account for.
Like what? Always going to be a factor you can't account for in what?
And what that does is say, all I can do is have a certain level of evidence.
That's proof.
That my conclusion is true. I can't say that it's universal proof, though.
Oh, you can't?
This is literally what it said to me. Except instead of evidence, he might have said confidence or something like that.
Gotcha.
That's exactly what he said.
It's exactly it. Got it.
Because someone else may have another explanation
Someone else has another explanation, Adam.
That cannot be accounted for.
That his explanation can't be accounted for. So how did you account for the explanation? This guy's a retard, man.
Yeah, but Anchovy, are you trying to say that like heat doesn't cause water to boil because if I go up on a mountain?
Oh, heat doesn't cause water to boil. Demok just brought in a new player. An actual hypothesis. Uh-oh, look out here.
I need more or less heat? Like, is this the same thing? Now you're getting into all this stuff about how do I know anything when it's not relevant.
Right. That's why he was saying truth is subjective. You need.
Oh, so you're sticking up for Roohif. Truth is subjective. Say that to yourself 4 or 5 times. And then report immediately to the who and where the fuck am I institution immediately. Go ahead, Adam.
It's dependent on altitude.
Huh?
Basically, now they're invoking truth dependent on altitude. Is that the subjectiveness?
I guess you could look at it that way. You're not. Well, please continue.
I'm trying to entertain myself with the dumb shittery.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, we got to do what we got to do.
Need your own personal level of evidence to decide what is true.
Pause. This in of itself, with what Eli's jumped, I heard one thing, and to have Eli say, "Yeah, this has been repeated," and for my indictment for why I heard it, it's worthy of itself. Flat Earthers, Geo, listen to the crap that the people in your Discord server. Yeah, I'm supporting you. Yeah, I think you're too polite. I think you allow too much bullshit to go off. But listen to the crap that people believe in there. Listen to the arguments. You've got to sort that out, bro. It's your server.
No, that rubbing of the feet and the hot chocolate, Adam. That's more important.
Yeah, when I
No, I'm not saying that at all. Wait, you're
No,
saying
Roohif.
Oh, okay, Roohif. Yeah, thank you.
Where'd Roohif go? Haven't heard him in a while.
He's gone now, but yeah, Roohif.
He's gone? What the piss? Now what am I going to do? Let's play a couple more minutes.
I just gave you the perfect segue. Listen to what it's turned into. Listen to the content in here. If this is a flat earth, right? Imagine if you are somebody of post A-level education.
Oh, goodness.
Right? And this is what you go to. Okay?
Oh, if you're post A-level GCSE and you went here and there were flat earthers in there, they'd leave and laugh at them. That's what would happen. Yes. So you're correct. Is that what you're fishing for, Adam? Yes, you're correct.
Yeah, I was playing on that my drunken analogy, but yes,
yeah, they would leave, yeah, and laugh at the flat earthers. But they would probably be smart. Hold on, they would probably be smart enough not to take the one interaction that they found with flat earthers and not stereotype all flat earthers. You would hope. Follow? Yeah.
The disappointment is that after all this time. That people don't grasp what the scientific method is, what it does, what proof is, what even proof means, what it elucidates. Apparently nothing. That's the disappointment, and that these things aren't being held to task when they're first brought out in their ridiculum. Yeah, they should be just dealt with swiftly. Yep.
I might. Well, I have a speculation as a lot of the citations and links that we do use, they end up broken or whatever.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You can always track them.
And people aren't smart enough to. Right.
Yeah, but you can always.
People aren't smart enough to do that.
Oh my God! You can always track them down, though.
Right, but people aren't smart enough to do that. So the baller is like, see, the citation is broken. It's not even available. Do you have anything else? And they're stuck going, no. They're Googling it. Science Buddies is coming up, and it's telling you that you get what I'm saying. So it's like people don't really have much to teach themselves on.
unfortunately.
That does happen, though. A lot of citations do break out. A lot of universities will do that. They have a propensity. Penn State is notorious for that. So you got to go back and track them down. Wayback Machine you can use. And sometimes that busted. You need to try the Wayback Machine on different days because sometimes it doesn't work for some strange reason. But that happens. I mean, there's not one citation that's going to break the bank anyway. Follow? But I understand what you're saying.
I was just trying to steelman his position is that there can't be universal truth because.
So there can't be universal truth. So there can't be absolute truth. Is what he's saying. You know, to come back to that?
And that's a fact.
And that's yeah, exactly. You got it. Yeah, can't be absolute truth. Well, is what you just said absolutely true? What a train wreck.
Everybody needs their own level of evidence to decide.
Everyone needs their own level of evidence, so he's sticking up for Roohif, which is, they said he left, so we're stuck.
Decide what is true.
Well,
is that dark Witsit in your profile picture?
Say, that was weird. What the hell was that?
That was really laughing.
By the way, the Witsit thing, the Witsit, when he brought up Witsit about a profile picture, let's get a J on that. But we're talking about a dude that is defending Roohif, and Witsit is argued the same exact way. He's a fucking baller, bro. Excuse my language.
No swearing.
He's a baller. You make sure. Oh, sorry, Eli. I thought you first.
He was done. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. What I was trying to say is that if you make sure that you never prove anything, that allows you to then claim that proof doesn't exist. Because that's all people like Witsit, Roohif, all that. That's all they ever do. They make sure nothing is ever proven, that they don't prove anything and come up with any actual proof. That then allows them the subjectivity they need to live in a completely grey area forever. I would call this stream a subjective whirlwind.
A subjective whirlwind. All right, let's get this last comment because I missed this. Somebody jumped in here and said something stupid.
Well,
is that dark Witsit in your profile picture?
Is that dark?
Is that dark Witsit in your profile picture?
Somebody said, is that dark Witsit in your profile picture? That's strange. Okay. What else we got here? Let's continue.
Does look like it. Sith Lord.
Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, your subjective understanding of truth doesn't mean that there is no actual truth. Just because, like, oh, different people have different understandings. That's stupid.
Yeah, whoever said that they're correct. Whoever that was, shout out to you.
Sith Lord Witsit, though.
I mean, that's just how science works.
That's how science works, huh, Glue Sniffer? Sure. How does it work again with the argument from ignorance fallacies?
Figure out something new once our understanding changes.
Like what? Give an example.
So science is about people's understandings?
Yeah, somebody's on his ass now.
Like different people. Like if someone doesn't understand anything about science, then science is like not a real thing because there's a person that doesn't know anything about it.
Who is that? Does anyone recognize that voice?
No.
Yeah, he's on top of it.
It's high level up. He's in 24/7 quite a lot.
Who is
he
it?
He calls himself Blob. High level up.
Okay. Yeah, he's on it.
Oh, that's why he said Sith Lord with dark Witsit.
He's always talking about raw milk and raw meat.
Oh, is he?
That's the only way to have it. Yeah.
Ah, okay. He's taking this guy to task. Now we might be in for a surprise here.
No, it's a consensus of evidence, right? The majority of people will believe that because their level of evidence has been met.
What does it matter what people believe?
That was his point.
Everything?
No.
Yes, I mean, look at religion.
Look at religion? Why? Globetard spinning space monkey religion? Let's look at that one.
Nuh-uh.
And it matters that people believe that?
Yes.
That sounds subjective.
If you look at science, I mean, you guys argue this all the time.
If you look at what's psi? What define that psi?
If you look at science, they'll be wrong, right?
If you look at science, they'll be wrong. What? Huh?
You can believe in something and be wrong in it the whole time.
You can believe in something. Why is science looking at it and believing?
Is this guy proving that belief exists?
I have no idea. He's a moron.
Geo should be all over this because Geo just explained if you take a measurement at one altitude, it doesn't change the fact that the measurement will be the same at ground / sea level. So I don't know.
Until they find
fall
something
into
new
sleep.
out, then they'll adjust their belief to that new truth.
They'll adjust beliefs to new facts. That's kind of moronic.
So basically, like a lot of what we were discussing a little bit earlier is, I just want to say real quick is that like, so this has been a discussion in the community.
Good.
Sorry about that. How can there be a different truth? If there's a new truth, it means the old truth wasn't true.
Wasn't true. Exactly. You got it. Yeah.
How can they have a different truth? Your truth can't be a different truth from my truth. Because that's some heap of rubbish.
Yeah.
So one of us or both of us, one of us is either right or both of us are wrong. It's either that, that's the way it is.
News for years. So like generally the two kind of ways we're in a way is the difference between like
the two kind of ways in a way. What?
Do you remember when Jaron was doing the argument you're saying, Anchovy, where he's saying, remember, and they got in the whole thing with Oakley and heated.
Oh, bonus coverage. Yeah. What?
Hey.
Damn. Okay, let's see where this goes.
For months. I don't know if you paid attention to some of that, but it was for a long time. And Jaron was basically giving the argument you're saying, just about the thing from before. If you guys are moving on from it a little bit, that's fine. But just the whole thing about, like, can you actually ever, prove something with an experiment, basically? Because there always could be some unknown variable. Is the one argument, the one you're giving, the one Jaron was really fighting for a while. He was going hard on that for a long time.
Yeah, because he's a dumbass.
And then more the side that basically it's just does science prove things at the end of the day. It's kind of
where do you stand with that, Gio? By the way,
that whole area, but
that whole area, right? Okay, but what and?
Because if you're saying it doesn't, because there always could be an unknown variable, then the other side, yeah. So that's kind of like in that range of what we're
in that range. Well, what's your stance on it?
If it doesn't prove anything, then let's just throw it all in the trash and get rid of science.
I know, dude. If you can't prove anything, think about like you could never know anything.
Looks like hey, that counselor.
It looks like he's being facetious. It looks like he's saying, if we can't prove anything, we can't prove anything. But I think he knows, or is on the side of we can.
Yes.
And I was gonna say, let's throw him some bail, because it looks like, even though he didn't have an experiment there or was mixing heat causing water to boil with the factoids,
sure.
He's trying. He's still consistent.
I'm looking for the primary counselor, Adam. Where'd he sneak off to?
I'm listening. I've just got a toffee fee in my mouth. So
I knew something was up, because you didn't stand up when Gio sort of implied that he was leaning to the side that science does prove things and Jaron's a moron.
I think he's alluded to it. I think he's being very like a good interviewer. He's trying to tease the argument out of his opponent as opposed to present it to him.
Yep. Let's see where it goes.
You have no truth, because proof is to establish something is true. If you have no proof, you have no truth.
I think maybe they decided that, and that's why they lit those libraries on fire. The Library of Alexandria. They're like, you know what? We can't even prove any.
Why the hell are we at the library? What?
this, and they just burned it down.
Thanks.
And I think that's what
Are any of these guys aware of the vapor pressure issue concerning Jern? I don't think they are. You know, they didn't wait till the end of the movie where it was shown who the real killer was. I don't know.
Let's continue. Let's see where we go.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. That's why. So they had enough of science, so they burned the libraries in Alexandria. Right? Makes perfect sense to me. Idiots.
Is that one of those moments they were advertising?
Sorry, go ahead.
The men just randomly think about ancient Rome 12 times a day. What just happened? What was that about?
I have no idea.
If you don't have proof that leads to truth, I guess you're just kind of like in a sea of subjective biases or subjective opinions based upon your own kind of processing of information, which in some cases may not be accurate, and for some people at times.
I've noticed that if you have a lot of information, those are usually the most like confused people. Like, I don't know, they just kind of believe all these things. And
what? That's just drivel.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, the education system kind of favors like repeated technical info mixed with like a complete kind of disconnection from the info at the same time in a way, or kind of
like what? What does that even mean?
Kind of the whole materialistic paradigm.
The whole materialistic. Aren't you a materialist? I mean, what do you sleep on at night? What are you talking with? I don't get it.
Where it's like very rigorous on the level of like info, but when it comes to like worldviews or kind of the belief part of things maybe, or
what?
That's where it's like they replace it. They get you just to blind.
Who are they?
Blindly believe with all the technical info. It's kind of like a large scale trick that they've done.
It's a large scale trick that they do. Well, can you give an example and then please tell us who are they? That would help.
Like
they're just writing down
based
explanations.
Based in MK Ultra and militaristic stuff, I'm sure.
What? What the hell is he on about now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying about explanations?
He said yeah.
No, they just write down all these explanations.
So who writes down all these explanations? Explanations about what?
People just read these things and then
people just suddenly read these things. Are you guys sniffing glue?
They just believe like all this stuff. Like they
believe stuffsies. That's why we love you. Your meticulous attention to excruciating detail. OCD like.
But they just have these ideas in their head about the explanations without.
Do we have ideas in our heads about explanations that were given by they?
Proof, and then it just causes people to be like really confused.
Oh boy. Now, we're confused by listening to your dumbasses.
It's like,
yeah, it leads to like a state of like a spiritual confusion of sorts. It's like epistemology.
Sorry. It's conversations like this that leave people confused.
Exactly. I was thinking that exact same thing, man. I was kind of appealing to my audience, saying, you're causing this to my audience. I haven't looked out there. I hope they're still there, and I don't know what to do. You know, give them like a voucher or something.
But you can't have several people talking in a subjective manner about many topics over the course of an hour and a half and expect to end up at some objective position.
Yeah, you think?
Huey, you should be validating all their parking.
And philosophy.
I'm waiting for someone to prove something. Yeah, like I was saying, MK Ultra there. Someone should say, "Can you prove that?" And then he's going to go, "Yeah," because that means all the past hour is gone. All that past hour of subjectivity is gone. As soon as you start claiming you can prove something,
yeah,
that's it. Subjective over. Yeah.
Yep. You're right. Not to them.
Is kind of turned inward on itself, almost like in a materialistic way that they've tried to do.
Materialistic way, and again, that's the second time in a couple, like 45 seconds. So I guess Geo's not a materialist. Look at your thumb, Geo.
To kind of disconnect people from nature and therefore spirituality, I think.
Disconnect people from nature? What? Are you an open-toed sandal, really bad breath moron?
I'm not saying nature is all spirituality, but I think it's...
I thought that's what you just said.
It's just connected, the whole like objectification of nature.
Have you objectified nature, Adam?
Is nature made of stuff?
Yeah.
Material, then?
Yeah.
Contradiction, then, isn't it? Where are we going?
I don't know. I taped this. I want to apologize.
Let's hold hands and walk through a field and talk about how we could build a better world if only nuclear bombs didn't exist and the man.
You know what I want to ask him about? Electrostatics.
Yep. That's the electricity that doesn't move.
To the objectification of humans and...
Now we got objectification of humans and nature.
Making us like either atheists or just like consumers.
They're making you atheist and consumer, Adam.
And even some of the religions play into that, the consumer part of it all.
The religions play into the consumer part of it all. Are they waxing philosophical now?
Yep. Selling you Bibles. What they're doing.
Video that I was mentioning, that was so on like Jaren and Witsit, they did some live streams when they...
That conversation ended abruptly. What happened there? All right, let's go. This is the last part of it, folks. Huh. We got where's it start? 30. We got 7 minutes. That'll be that.
I like that. That's achievable.
That is achievable, isn't it? All right, here we go. Let me start it over again. Will that start it? Yep.
Video that I was mentioning, that was so on like Jaren and Witsit, they did some live streams when they were in Punta Arenas, like right when they got there. So those are probably on their channel still, where they were just showing the southern sky. It was like this like lit up blue. It's like they got to Punta Arenas, they're like, oh my gosh, even though it was like kind of nighttime as it were, or the darkest it gets there, they were seeing the whole southern sky. There was like this, like it was all lit up. It was pretty cool. But yeah, if you hadn't seen that one, that's interesting observation they made. And then then in terms of the sun rising south of east and south of west, that's very well known. I mean, that happens in all the southern regions there. So for everybody in Australia, etc., anyone can test that any day of the week. And
test it. Wouldn't you just look? Is looking testing?
Yeah, and if you blink, it's repeated testability.
That's always been a thing that people have debated with the...
People have debated sunrises and sunsets? What?
The AE map type of idea?
The AE map type of idea? What the hell are you talking about?
That's been an argument, and there's been some...
What's been an argument? Oh my God, he's going to start meandering. I got that feeling.
A couple different ways that's been explained, but it never really was.
Couple different ways that's what's been explained. Can somebody go back in time retroactively and give him a central line of Adderall, please, for everything sacred and holy? Can't do it.
Finalized, it seemed, in terms of like a planar Earth. And I think a lot of people agree that there were some arguments for it, but it wasn't necessarily, because that's the next question.
Sentence fragment. That didn't help matters. It doesn't help matters at all.
question like, okay, well, if the sun was doing that, why would anyone even believe in the first place?
If the sun was doing what, why would anybody believe in what in the first place? The AE map? Was there a sun on the AE map?
That the sun made, because what that means is that...
Because the sun made out another sentence fragment. This is very helpful now.
Basically, when you, like, in my viewpoint, the northern rotation of stars, then you have at the equator where they meet, and there's a straight line at the equator, and then you have the southern rotation of stars.
What?
Q, he sounds like a younger Biden. If you listen to him, he sounds like a younger Biden.
Shut
Fragment sentences. You shut up. He sounds like a younger Biden.
Shut up.
Well, on an AE map, you know, the idea is that they're all...
On an AE map, you're just talking about the stars. Where are the stars on the AE map? A globe projection, by the way.
All concentric circles. So
they're all concentric circles. What are you talking about?
So already the stars don't fit that because they do.
The stars don't fit the AE map. Counselors, you're going to have your hands full. Adam, Elijah, I haven't heard a peep out of you.
I was letting you go. You were clearly enjoying yourself. But those stars that aren't on the AE map, whichever one he's citing, don't fit in the positions that they're not in.
Yes.
Is the AE map a star chart?
Apparently.
Do that opposite thing. Or at least not that.
You can't do that. You can't do that. I'm starting again. You paused too long.
That very basic idea of it. I'm not saying the whole AE map's wrong, but I'm just saying the full concentricness, because once you go south.
The full concentricness, is concentric a word?
I swear to God, I almost spit out my own juice. I said, what? Yeah, what? Oh God, Gio, come on, man.
South of the equator, they start.
That's one of your lawyers, Gio, and he's sitting there. Come on, dude.
It's like the arc and the anti-arc. So there are
the arc and the anti-arc. That is the question.
Arcing in the north and they're anti-arcing in the south. So they make.
They're arcing. Is he talking about the stars? I think so. So they're arcing in the north and anti-arcing in the.
Oh.
Okay. I think I'm getting. I think I understand what he's saying. You following, Adam?
Sounds like a way of saying they're going in the opposite direction. Because if the anti-arc would be to reverse the direction of the arc, which would mean that instead of the central point of rotation being, you know, Polaris or the south, then you've got the reverse, so it's upside down. So it's instead of a frown, it's a smile. Would be an anti-arc, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but that wouldn't mean different directions, though.
So therefore, then, if we don't take the literal and we just assume that the only thing he then can be referring to is that if you turn around, the stars appear to go from, instead of left to right, right to left, whichever way you do it, whilst always going east to west. I think, is that what he's implying?
I don't know. Let's let him go. Let's see.
I like if he's invented a new phrase of anti-arc, I like it.
The anti-arc epiphanies.
Arc, which is just like a magnetic field where you have the two rotations and you get.
What? I'm gonna have to go back. Sorry about that. Adam was snickering, so I didn't get that.
It's the biblical.
Make this opposite arc. Which
Stop! I can't hear it.
I'm just saying it was the biblical reference that made me sniff it.
The anti-arc. Where did I get that from? I think I got that. Oh, what's that movie? Gladiator. When they were announcing the anti-arc of, and that guy was given the rendition before they released the hounds on Gladiator. Never mind.
Right.
It's just like a magnetic field where you have the two rotations.
What's like a magnetic field with two rotations?
And you get that arc and anti-arc, etc.
You get an arc and anti-arc with what?
So anyway, so you have that kind of, the straight line at the equator, and then they veer off. The ones in the south start curving off to the left. If you're looking west, the ones on the north start curving off to the right.
Oh my God, you're right, Adam. We're starting to go left and right, for God's sake. Oh boy. I can't get away from this.
So you have where the star trails intersect there. Well, it's just that the sun does that same thing, meaning it follows those same patterns.
All the stars, sun and moon, save for Polaris, rise then move from the east to the west, no matter where you are on the earth. Period.
Yeah.
Not yeah. Yeah. Unless you're gonna say that in the north the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, yet in the south it goes in the opposite direction, and the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. That's your position right now. Are you still thinking about it?
Because I'm
Hello, counselor.
I'm just polishing my nails, going, called it.
I'm talking about your co-counsel over there that was sort of thinking about it. That's your position. I just solidified it. It's concretized. You got anything to say about that?
He's dropped. He's quit.
Did he drop?
He's quit the defense. No, he's back. He's back on the bar.
He's back on it. Okay.
My headphones died. Look, the only thing I can say, which is obvious, is he's trying to describe what we've all talked. Well, okay, what I've talked about sometimes, what some of us in 24/7 have talked about if you were to get star trails, I guess, from near the equator, they appear to arc in different.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You're a young man. Don't do it.
Forget it. I don't forget it. I quit. I don't know.
I broke your co-counsel, Adam.
Oh. Yeah, well, I mean, I tried. The thing is, what are we breaking?
I broke them because that's the only other position that you can have.
So once broken, all you can then do is apply a plea. And the plea is, come on, dude, you know this better than this. And the only reason you're doing it is because to me, you're skirting around the issues. Now, I can give you a bit of credit.
Are you talking about your wait a second. Are you talking about your co-counsel or Gio? Or both?
My co-counsel's quit, so I'm now stepping in. Basically, this is behind doors. This is in chambers. I'm talking to my client, Gio. Yeah, come on, mate. Yeah, if you carry on like this, you're gonna be indicted. Yeah, you've got the tools. Do it. Stop being polite. Which I know that might have been the reason you say the land of misfit toys, and look at what it creates. It creates confusion. Yeah, and you making yourself look daft. As you just don't present what you know. Because I know you know the arguments. We were there back. Yeah? So what's going off? I've tried to mitigate for you, but it's hard, isn't it? Hard to mitigate for bullshit.
Yep.
And I respect that, but you've got to stop doing that and hold these idiots to task. Now, that's the ballers, which you do patiently. But more importantly, the idiots that invoke this unknown known for no knowns, yeah? The Donald Rumsfeld defense crap that's been allowed in, and like I said earlier, the cancer that's been allowed to creep in, populated by Jeren and Witsit primarily. Yeah, way before the TFE, they were polluting the way people think, and it's been highlighted tonight that some idiot can come out and give verbatim the crap that they spouted. You've got to stop that. You should shut that crap down in your server. It's no more valid and worthy of anything than the ballers are presenting with nothing.
Exactly, Adam.
And if we don't, right, that anybody of an above A-level standard will just laugh at us.
Yep, you got it. Thanks, Adam. That's classic. All right, here we go. Let's hear where he goes with it. We only got a few more minutes left. Maybe time will save him. How about that for a reification?
Well, it's just that the sun does that same thing, meaning it follows those same patterns, meaning when it's in the north, it does that, counterclockwise rotation.
Oh, God, you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble, counselor. These went to counterclockwise. He's through. This is shocking.
And then when it's at the equator, it's straight. And then when it goes to the left, when it goes south, meaning kind of to the left of the equator, it starts anti-arcing, which means it does, like if you were at the equator right at the equinox looking west, when the sun started going either south or north, it's like it starts arcing or anti-arcing one or the other ways.
But do they all still go east to west, west to east?
Oh, somebody coming in here, tightening Geo's shot group. Did you hear that? Let's go back. Somebody's listening to Geo friggin' spout nonsense and jumps in. Let's see who that. Somebody recognize that voice? Here we go.
But do they all still go east to west, west to east? Do they change?
Yeah, Geo, did they change?
Well, I mean, everything's going east to west.
Well, there you go. You should just shut up right now.
Except the rotations when.
Except the rotation. Oh, hold on. He's going to train wreck himself. All right, let me go back. Here we go.
Well, I mean, everything's going east to west, except the rotations when you're looking at them from an angle. There are.
Except the rotations that you're looking at them from an angle. They don't go east to west. That is one of the dumbest things I think I've ever heard. Council. Yoo-hoo! Johnny Cochran, you got your hands full right now.
And no comment, Your Honor.
Yeah, you bet your ass there's no comment. Let's listen to that one more time. What a moronic. What?
Do you want to know what the root origin of the word Arctic means?
No, go ahead. I don't.
It's from the Greek. It means close to the bear or to the bear, as in bear, as in polar bear or whatever.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's what it is, yeah.
That's amazing piece of trivia there. Where did you knew where I was going to get sarcastic with you? he stopped it,
yeah,
folks.
I had to tell someone.
I had to tell somebody right now. Are you kind of you running interference for Adam and his counseling duties?
Well, not maybe directly intentional, but because he got himself into it, in fairness.
Yeah, he did. You think that that's going to get me off the trail?
No, my intention wasn't to do that at all. My intention was purely selfish.
Fair enough. Here we go.
Things going east to west, except the rotations when you're looking at them from an angle. There are stars that are technically going the other way because.
No, there's not. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. You're a moron, Gio.
Things going.
Why?
Things going.
Go
ahead.
Right, I had to think for a minute, but it's because the bear points to Polaris.
Oh, brother!
When we say the bear, it's Ursa Major, that constellation, the Great Bear, that you can use to find Polaris. Yeah, which is why it's called the Arctic. That's why.
Yep. Trying to divert away. ladies and gentlemen of the jury, all this guy is doing.
I know that's a little bit like the Chewbacca is a Wookiee defense that OJ tried to use.
Yeah.
But I'm just pointing out.
If the glove doesn't fit.
Exactly.
This isn't going to work. Were you guys messaging each other, like in the background? And yeah, Brian, bring up some type of irrelevant stuff about a bear or something, and because my client is getting trashed.
No, none of that happened. It was purely, I just came in at a bad time.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep.
I have a question.
I'm going to keep replaying it. Go ahead, Flatsy.
If you sympathize with a terrorist sympathizer, does that make you a terrorist sympathizer by proxy?
If you say that one more time.
If you sympathize with a terrorist sympathizer, does that make you a terrorist sympathizer by proxy?
Oh, yes.
No, it makes you a simp of a terrorist sympathizer.
Same thing.
That's what Adam is.
That's what Adam.
I've got 2 points to make there. The first point is even terrorist sympathizers actually require decent legal counsel. That doesn't make them a simp of it, does it?
Who said that they?
That's exactly what a terrorist sympathizer would say.
We would say exactly.
Tommy bastard, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to just keep replaying this.
Things going.
No, I've asked 2 points.
Things go.
I said 2 points. The second point really is probably the more pertinent one. That I didn't start out this as counsel. I started out giving a bit of a salient thing that mildly disagreed. You suddenly then turned that into me becoming his defendant, and then as soon as Eli supported me, he was co-counsel. Yeah. I feel a little bit of a whitewash going off here.
What you need to do, Adam, is just put in a guilty plea for your client right now.
You better go for the plea deal because it's over now. Here we go.
Well, I mean, everything's going east to west, except the rotations, when you're looking at them from an angle, you know, there are stars that are technically going the other way because...
So there are stars that are going the other direction, so they must be going west to east. You are a glue sniffer. Go ahead.
I have the culprit. I have an image, albeit from Reddit. I don't know what you want me to do. Should I?
I don't want to check an image, dude. I already gave you your position. If you want to mitigate that, it's going to end invariably in your demise and a complete disaster. Just to let you know. I'm not trying to intimidate you. I'm giving you counsel as to cease and desist. Adam, you better speak to that co-counsel of yours.
Yeah. Sometimes the defense can't help. The best thing is silence.
Yeah.
Allow the evidence to roll and don't defend the indefensible.
Yeah, it's best that way sometimes, Elijah. Let's get the whole story now. I'm trying to play this.
Maybe this is the opportunity, Elijah.
Yeah. I'm going to continue to play this thing over and over again. It's going to get worse and worse.
Well, I mean, everything's going east to west, except the rotations, when you're looking at them from an angle, you know, there are stars that are technically going the other way because...
Kaboom!
Well, I mean, everything's going east to west, except the rotations, when you're looking at them from an angle, you know, there are stars that are technically going the other way because, you know how, like, when you have, let's just say you have something going clockwise, when it's at the top.
Yeah. Look out. If you have something going clockwise isn't in a direction, Geo, you dumbass cracker. Here's the weather report. It's going to be partly sunny today. Temperature is about 75 degrees. The winds will be coming out of west-northwest. Or it's partly sunny, temperature 75 degrees, or the winds are coming out of the counterclockwise. Which one makes more sense, Gio? You abject idiot.
I think there's a Meakin and Freeman Associates at law are going to go down the drain. That's what I think.
Going clockwise, when it's at the top, you know, it's going kind of left to right, but then
now we not only have counterclockwise or clockwise, we got left to right. Oh boy.
As it loops back around, now it's going right.
It's going to be partly sunny today. Temperature about 78 degrees, and the winds are going to be coming out of the left.
Right to left. But that's just the nature of rotation. That doesn't really...
That's just the nature of rotation. Don't worry about it.
I mean, yeah.
That's why I didn't say left or right. I said
that's why. Yeah, but he did.
East to west or west.
Oh, that's the guy. Anyone know that guy's? He's on him. He's on Geo like white on rice. He keeps on repeating it. You catch that? So whoever that is, shout out to him.
To right. I said east to west or west to east. Does it change direction there?
I didn't stop it. Geo's thinking.
Or do you change your orientation?
You better think long and hard.
I mean, that's a question. I mean, it seems like it is always east.
Yeah, that's the question.
East to west. I mean, everything in the sky in terms of...
what? What?
Just trying to think. I mean, yeah, the road.
Oh, you're just trying to think. You just said that certain stars go the opposite direction, and the white knight right here just busted your ass. What are you gonna do now?
Rotations are one thing when you're looking at them, but the thing is, when you go under those rotations, they're making those patterns.
They're making what patterns? That's not what his question was. East to west or west to east, Geo.
They're making that same east to west. So like if you go to...
So they're making the same east to west. What?
So if you're in Antarctica with a 24-hour sun there...
Now we're in Antarctica.
And you're looking... That's why like the sky is magnetic, because the whole thing totally...
The sky's magnetic, really? Evidence? I'd like to see this. Hey, counselor, you better advise your client, because I'm going to come down on his head square with my gavel. Really?
Maybe just have to call to adjourn for a moment and just take a short recess.
Yeah. Are you requesting a short recess so you can confer with your client?
Yes, just for a short moment. Maybe he might wish to change his plan.
Oh boy, that was.
I mean, fundamental. This is the trouble, isn't it? What's going on? You're trying to make a claim. You're not, but you are. You're inferring you've got a claim, and then as you went on, you ended up making a really stupid claim that the sky's magnetic. Is it? Is that why I can't leave a fridge magnet on the table because it will levitate up? What's going on?
Yeah, I hope you didn't do a no win, no fee on this one, Adam.
No, we're working for the government.
In Antarctica with a 24-hour sun there, and you're looking... That's why like the sky is magnetic, because the whole thing totally matches magnetic field. In Antarctica with a 24-hour sun there, and you're looking... That's why like the sky is magnetic, because the whole thing totally matches magnetic field.
It totally matches a magnetic field, so it's a magnetic field. Where's it coming from?
What's it matching?
And what's it match? Exactly. Yep, you're done. The gavel already came down on his head. We can move on.
This is more of the bullshit brainwash. Yeah, the Bob No Dow, what did they call them? Those iron ferrocells. There you go. They're ferrocell nonsense. Showing you that, which is no more than a load of iron filings with a piece of paper and a magnet underneath. Yeah, but done in a way to trick you into thinking the pattern's there. I've got something. When have you ever seen the sky rotating like a ferrocell? You haven't. Yeah, yeah, but you've been mugged off into thinking, well, yeah, but because it's magnetic, then that's how it'll rotate, and because there's ether, that's the cause of the electromagnetic dual relationship they have. So clearly, the sky's magnetic. What? That.
Well.
I know I've turned into the prosecution there. Sorry.
He turned into the counselor turned into the prosecution.
Eli's on his own. I couldn't state that the sky isn't working via magnetism, but I just couldn't state that it is. I don't know. That's the problem. In case anyone wants to say,
Which bit of the sky?
Sorry?
Which bit of the sky in terms of how it works?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm just saying I can't say how it doesn't work either.
I can't see how the ether. I can't see, Brian, genuinely, how the ether could rotate without an electromagnetic field being the causation of that ether rotation.
Yeah. Are you trying some co-counseling mitigation here? There.
Back to the Chewbacca is a Wookiee defense, aren't I?
Yeah, he's Brian. He's got. Well, let's let it go. Let's see where we're going.
Antarctica with a 24-hour sun there, and you're looking. That's why like the sky is magnetic, because the whole thing totally matches the magnetic field.
Totally.
Anyways, if you're at the southern region, like 80 degrees south, like they were, and you're looking north, the sun is going to be going right to left. So that is actually east to west, because when you're
amazing
looking north that way, that is east to west. And then if you're up in the north at the northern pole, and
what's going to happen then?
That's why the thing is they are
that's a sentence fragment. What's going to happen then?
Related in those two, in the direction of the two kind of poles.
The directions are related, really. You're trying to get out of this. Let's see if he holds you to task again.
Because if you're then in the north, it goes the opposite. It goes left.
Oh, it goes the opposite. So it goes left to right. So is that opposite directions? Or is it still east to west? Geo. He's going to catch you again, this guy. I'm sure he is, because he's been hanging around. You don't know what direction, what objective directions are, Geo. You're caught in he's caught in a loop, counselor. You better get him out of it.
Objection, Your Honor. My client will point out that what he went to say is, and of course he wasn't implying anybody had to go and travel to the north. He could have, of course, just turn around for the same effect.
Yeah. Good try. It ain't going to work.
Left to right, but if you're looking, you'd be looking south. And when you look back south at the other pole, that's...
What other pole?
The left to right is east to west.
So everything's east to west. Thanks.
Because that's like if you're looking down towards, let's say Texas, left to right.
We're looking down towards Texas? Really? I've never looked down towards Texas, personally. Counselor.
Like if you're up at the North Pole.
Yeah. Have you recused yourself?
I only say that. I used that with Nathan. He said it the other day. No, if I go to London, I go down south, and if I go to Scotland, I go up north. Now, yeah, that's only because I've made those flat, grid coordinates synonymous with each other with those words. I'm not invoking a ball when I do that.
Are you saying I'm being a little bit too pedantic about this situation? That I should relent a bit?
I think if you pursued that point, you'd probably weaken your case.
Okay, I'll give strike that last comment from the record, Your Honor.
And you're down looking at Texas or whatever. The sun.
I can't help it. You don't look down to Texas. Can you reinstate that, Your Honor?
They're seeing it rising east and west. You're looking at it from the other side now. So now it's left to right.
So now it's left to right. It rises east to west. You go to the other side, and it rises left to right. You frigging weasel, you. So, are you saying those are opposite directions?
East to west. So, yeah, it's both. But
let me take that back. He said something there. 1 second, folks.
Looking at it from the other side now. So now it's left to right is east to west. So, yeah.
So it's the same, east to west. So your left to right, clockwise and counterclockwise, is a bunch of horse shit that the ball-tards has Jedi mind tricked you with, is what's happening here.
Yeah, it's both. But when
it's both. No, it's east to west. One, not both.
When the 24-hour suns happen in the north and
the 24-hour suns, is there more than one?
And south, the way that they move, the left to right, right to left, respectively, matches east to west, respectively, when you're looking at each pole from each pole.
From each pole, what poles? North. Where's the South Pole at? How would you identify the South Pole? Anyone?
Yeah, a red and white striped pole.
Oh, Barber's pole. Is that how you're going to identify it? Any other way?
Ball on the top. Yeah, ball on the top and a sign that says South Pole.
That's it. Any other attributes? It's not a trick question. I'm just asking.
As far as I'm aware, that's it. Can't get anything to point at it, right? But other than like celebrities, they'll point at it. That's about it.
Thanks.
Compass system.
Well, sure. You're just
here comes our guy
in the southern hemisphere looking north, and in the northern hemisphere looking south, as opposed to say northern hemisphere looking south and southern hemisphere looking south.
Yeah, but it's also yeah, exactly. You're looking a different way, but there's also like the rotations themselves are actually, that's why we can say they're clockwise or counterclockwise.
There we go, back again, like a dog back to his vomit. Unbelievable. You're finished.
In terms of that, because of the motion itself is
the motion itself of what?
Well, it's all still the same direction.
Here's our guy.
It's all still east to west.
All still east to west. There's our guy. I'm playing this, folks. There's nothing but silence from Geo. That continued to play. Till now.
Well, like if you're at the equator in the center, so you're not really in one of the poles looking out at a sun, but you're just at the center, then yeah, like the whole star field is just rising in the east and going to the west.
Yeah, that's it.
But because that's all happening, when you look from that perspective, you look north or if you look south, respectively, you'll get that clockwise or counterclockwise.
He just can't get away from it. Can't do it, counselor.
Because you're looking a different way, but the whole thing.
I'd like to. I've got some medical notes, and it does say at this point, my client was suffering from temporary amnesia. Once again, would like to reiterate: nobody needs to travel to the equator, to the north, or to the south. All these effects can be garnered in the same way by turning around.
5 seconds left.
Is all moving. It's like one celestial sphere that's kind of tilted evenly as to where you're looking up at the equator directly above you.
That's it. That's all I got. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's where she ended.
Probably enough.
Is that helpful?
What's for me? Because I don't listen to this sort of stuff, but to actually listen to all those bits and hear the interjections, the disappointing lack of objections on the most fundamental things. Yeah, it says there's a lot of work to do in there.
My
Eli, what have you been playing at?
My chat is.
Why don't these people know their shit? Eli.
Well, the problem with Geo.
Well, Geo's trying to.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Elijah, and then
Eli.
then the next guy. Elijah, go ahead.
Geo's trying to say that when you're looking west at the equator, the stars go northwest and southwest. I don't know what that means, though. Beyond that, I don't.
That's a healthy defense. That the other guy was talking. Who was that?
The problem with Geo is every time you try to debate him, he just ignores what you say and then just reasserts his claims. So he does this with every single topic. So you can't actually debate Geo on anything.
Huh? Interesting.
People have given up.
Who's the guy that's challenging him, saying that it's all east to west? Did anyone recognize that voice? I didn't.
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like, look, I had 0 drop frames. I've got all green on OBS. Look at that, Adam. Can you believe that? My computer,
well, I mean,
my computer hasn't burned up.
You've not had to open the window.
Nope. It's a little. If I could, it's not that bad. A little bit of heat, but not overly heated. I'm good.
We made it. That was a pain in the arse. Ridiculous start. But
what are you gonna do? It made the ending so much better.
It was an interesting ride. I didn't know where it was going to go. Hopefully, I've not seen Skype bleep from Roohif, but we'll wait till tomorrow. But genuinely, wow, that's not good, is it? Really?
Well, Roohif kind of slipped out, right? Because those guys were droning on and on and on, and Roohif, he left about 10 minutes ago.
Well, I mean, what did Roohif prove? Proved he's got no standards to make any judgment on. That was his argument. No. That don't prove anything. That doesn't prove anything. Just my internal moral compass. That proves things. That was his point, which was fine. Which I think was what we was probably going to mock. What it turned out to me was it's not an indictment of Geo per se. It was more listening to everybody. You guys haven't got the argument. You need to stop being so polite. Stop allowing people to put past the point when they're just chatting shit and making crap up.
Yep.
Start to refine your arguments. And you don't have to do the hard work. It's over here at FED. It's over here at QE Live. Come and just refresh yourself with them. Because you should be smashing that. You shouldn't be pausing like an idiot and considering whether or left or right, clockwise, anti-clockwise, same thing's different when east to west is the only travel we've got. These things shouldn't be like troubling us. Yet somehow they are. Why they are, I don't know.
Yep. In 2025, I busted this. I'll tell you what. I arrived here May 15th, 2016. By May 17th, I had ripped this to shreds. That long ago. I mean, and been hollering from the rooftops about it, making fun of ballers for years and years and years and years. But I go back and listen to this, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? Can you explain that? I mean, not even if you heard me, if you actually just sat down and thought, just think about it. Just think about what their claim is.
It's called patty cake.
Huh?
It's called patty cake. Patty cake.
Patty cake.
Patty cake. Patty cake bakers, ma'am.
I have a clip where I debated Geo about yeah. Well, it's like a health related thing, but it's just he does the same thing with every single topic.
Oh, we don't want to hear the health. Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, he just was basically lying the whole time and didn't address any of the claims.
I got you. You're searching for pattern. Okay.
Yeah.
It
was about feces mixing.
It was about feces? Are you kidding me?
Fecal transplants.
Oh my God.
He almost banned me for like nothing.
So, Adam, are you interested in feces debate?
Sounds a bit shit to me, that.
A little bit.
I'm not going to say. Go ahead. Sorry.
If you look at the BALLBUSTERS text chat, I posted a Witsit diss track that I made. If you guys want to check that out at some point.
We've been down the road with Witsit too long. We're just gonna allow that friggin' lion sore rat just to fade off into fogged history.
Yep.
No. Yeah, I'm not gonna go snatch it. We're done with Witsit.
There's about to be an event on Earth Awakenings tomorrow.
Really?
where we're gonna talk about the final experiment and Witsit and how it's just all suspect, and we're gonna bring up some stuff. Yeah.
Tomorrow? So that should be on one of their live streams, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Just don't conflate the two then. TFE is suspect. Witsit was suspect well before TFE. Reasons highlighted tonight, yeah? The crap that people are spouting that are repeating Witsit's nonsenses, yeah? And you heard it in that little clip we played. Eli chipping in the same, yeah, I heard my bro say this directly, the same thing. This is verbatim. This is the trouble, yeah? Get rid, yeah? Point being, don't conflate the two. One's a liar and the other is a non-experiment set up by a separate liar.
Right. Well, the point would be that all the people who went are just not trustworthy at all, including Witsit. And yeah, he's really suspect for things that he's been doing for years. So I don't know why people are just trusting what he says.
Well, that's not the point. That's like a whole different, like, psychological point, and not really the topic.
Well, you know what? Where are the measurements? Yeah. Where are the measurements?
Are you talking into a pillow? Your mic's a train wreck, dude. So I think I got what are the measurements out of that. Who were you asking?
They didn't get anything. They didn't get any measurements. They didn't do any science. They did nothing.
I thought they did get some elevation angles, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe.
Triangles McKeegan, he had to reset the whatever, the rotating device on his camera twice, and then he just let it sit where it was because that was good enough.
Yeah, I'm not all that concerned about all that stuff. And, you know, like Adam said, that Jaron and Witsit were demonstrated liars long before TFE. Now, does that mean that they lied about what they saw? No, not necessarily. Right? But I'm not really all that concerned about that. I'm not concerned with a pseudoscientific non-experiment with two affirming the consequent formological fallacies wrapped inside a false dichotomy fallacy, debunking a globe projection. Somebody said that ended my worldview. By the way, I think it was last night somebody messaged me and sent me that, right? And I said, and I gave him that answer. I said, so you're telling me my worldview is ended by a pseudoscientific non-experiment with two affirming the consequent formological fallacies wrapped inside a false dichotomy, debunking a globe projection. You sure you do you want to change your last statement? That shut him up, by the way.
The reality of that is that reality has actually shook a lot of people. They to realise they didn't know what they was on about in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the reality. Like I said, the shit elite itself. Well, dressing that guy, yeah, and I'll double down. No, it's not whether that film's true or not, because I haven't got the skills to analyse it. It's the people that are telling me, trust me, bro, had already demonstrated that they're not trustworthy. That's why it's hard to take any credit. I'll accept there was a 24-hour sun, yeah? Not sure what that actually means, even if they saw it or don't, because there's nothing there. Certainly no experiment, is there?
Nope.
There's a distinct lack of inference, other than something we'd all agreed to, something that Brian was asked to submit to before Pastor would have talked to him, that the azimuthal, equidistant projection of a globe is debunked. Something we all agreed to in 2016.
Yep. Not getting it. Okay, what else? It seems like everyone's tuckered out. Oh, it is 5:16. Well, we had a delay because of, I forgot about that. Okay. All right, so Ballbusters this Saturday. Adam, any birthdays this Saturday?
Yeah, it's my dog pedicurist grandma's bar mitzvah.
Yeah. Too
funny. As far as aware, we're all good. Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Now, I gave a warning to Nathan that he didn't read. I wonder if he read it yet. I don't want anyone going over that video. Let me see if he's read it. Who put a check mark there? Oh, he did. He did read it. Did you see that, Adam? He did read it. So
I don't think he necessarily did. That was the phone call that we all joined in, so it'll mark it as he read it. Whether he paid any attention is a different matter.
No, sir. He put a check mark under my message.
That's not just did he read it. He's actually responded to it.
Yeah, that's telling me that he identified it and he will not allow that to happen. So
that right, and we can round out on that. That is proof.
Is that subjective proof or is that actual evidence? That's not proof that he doesn't believe in.
All right, I don't want to be committal, so what I'm going to say to you is, it's met my threshold.
I bet it has. So go ahead and hey, guys, stay tuned. This Saturday, there will definitely be a Ballbusters. Looks like my computer is up to speed now. There should be no problems. So tune in Saturday for Ballbusters at 2 p.m. U.S. Central. You figure out where your local time is off of that. I'm not in that business. So, Adam, sir, take us home.
I think we're already at home, virtually. Other than I'll reiterate my plea. Come on, guys, get on board. The arguments are here for you. Yeah, they're already written. Just got to memorize them. You just got to not be confused about anti-clockwise, clockwise, left, right, and east and west. Yeah, and we can take these things apart and we can accelerate an argument. We can take an argument past what proof, or evidence means with people like Numpty, Roohif. Yeah, we demonstrate they have no argument. There's nothing to be fearful of there. The only argument they've got is confusion. We're better than this, guys. And in 2025, we not only can destroy a ball, we can prove it's flat. So please come over. I know we're a bit scary and shouty and don't allow you to chat shit. But come over, because honestly, it'll be for your benefit. And if you are interested in flat Earths, because even to anybody of a post-A-level grade education, what we heard tonight will only put people off. Good night.
Quantum eraser. He moves through the world with purpose and grace, destroying beliefs at steadfast pace. Asking what's science and what's math. His wisdom cuts through like tempered glass. They call him Chewie. ring of the cowbell, the illusion fades. And with each strike, the glow burst, illusion degrades. Curious treatments, they cure them of their plight. Guide him toward truth with all his might. They call him QE, quantum eraser. The hardest thing about being a Glober is telling your daddy you're gay, oh so gay. That's why they need QE's treatment. They call him QE, quantum eraser. They call him QE, the quantum eraser.